होने से बताना।
हाँ सर, बस जा ही रहा।
हो गया
लाइव हो गया।
चलिए, thanks Pallavi. A very good morning to you all friends. Though I understand it is year-end session, people may be busy with their GST returns and all other professional works, individual
हो गया
returns,
सर।
pending, etc. On the other side, this is year-end, people may be in a fun mood also. In spite of that, I am very glad to see you all here, just right at 11 to attend this important session. Today we have CA Vivek Agarwal ji with us. Along with him, after him, CA Vidyadhar Kulkarni ji will be there, who will be addressing us on NFRA 1 and 2 issues. CA Vivek Agarwal ji will take up with the standards of auditing. So I have a very bad throat, I may not continue more. I once again welcome you, Vivek ji, and all my friends. With this, I hand over to Nitesh ji to continue further.
Thank you, Saroj ji. We welcome star speaker of today, Vivek Agrawal. Very good on audit part. We can say that the eastern part, he is one of the best speaker as on date. Friends, we had also planned the budget program. This will be on Kala Mandir on 2nd February, and the speakers, we will also give the booklet, one booklet, maybe of 80-90 pages, containing the analysis of the budget. And Rakesh Gupta ji, ex-tribunal member, he has consented. We have on capital market, we have Sanjeev Vasim ji, and on indirect tax, we have Pulak Shah ji. So from 3:30, this will be on Kala Mandir. So this program, the links, etc., we are trying to circulate from today also. So there will be early bird also for this program. So we'll request you to kindly register as we forward as soon as possible. Tomorrow and on 30th also we have program. We had already closed as far as registration is concerned, and on the 6th January also we are planning one program in January. So request you to kindly register for these programs. With these, thank you, and request Pallavi Sodhi to kindly introduce Vivek Agrawal ji.
Yeah, hi, good morning and welcome everyone. I would like to introduce Vivek Agarwal ji. CA Vivek Agarwal ji is a fellow chartered accountant and a company secretary. He has done his diploma in IFRS from Akka UK and Disa from ICI, and forensic audit course also he has done from ICI. He is a partner in SK Agarwal and company, heading Ind AS and foreign audit assurance. He has a specialized knowledge in Ind AS implementation and successfully implemented Ind AS in many companies, and also implemented standard operating procedures in many companies. He is a regular speaker on topics like Ind AS, IFSC, standards of auditing on various platforms. He is also a co-opted member in sustainability. I request everyone to please mute themselves. He is a co-opted member in Sustainability Reporting Standard Board of ICIC for 22-23, and a special invitee on Accounting Standard Board and also Auditing Assurance Standard Board. He is the immediate past president for Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives, and he is also an executive member of Direct Tax Professional Association. He is a life member in Bombay Chartered Accountant Study Circle. So I request Vivek Agarwal ji to start the session.
Thanks a lot, Pallavi ji. Thank you, Nitesh ji, for inviting me, and Saroj ji for giving me this opportunity at Views Exchange Chartered Accountant CA Study Circle. Friends, today morning we have joined together. Many of us maybe for the CPA credits But if we have joined, why not learn something new or learn something which is important and close to everyone? Because most of us are in audit profession, and it is utmost required that we are well versed with audit requirements. And why Vivek audit requirements? Audit requirements like AS you are talking about? No, I'm not talking about accounting standards. I'm talking more about auditing standards. Vivek, why is auditing standards so important, and why Institute is also asking us to follow auditing standards or to have a compulsory session on audit standard? Because friends, please try and appreciate as an auditor, when the client is drafting the books of accounts, they are required to follow a universal standard, that is accounting standard or AS framework. And as an auditor, our requirement is to follow auditing standards. And friends, as already said by Niteshji, please use the chat box for answering the questions and discussing and asking the question instead of writing the membership number, because when you have registered, you have given your membership number and you will get the due CP credits. First and foremost, to everyone, out of 150 people who are here as of now, 160 people, how many of you are into audit profession, or how many of you signed at least a single balance sheet during a year? See friends, when you are taking a session early morning, you have to have your fastest finger first. Also, you'll have a practice for KBC also if you join over here. So please keep on your chat box ready and try to answer so that it can be two-way communication. Tusharji says yes, he does audit. Anyone else? Manojji says he does audit. Polali Rajaman Karnat raised hand saying that they do audit. Deepak ji, Abhinav ji, Mohit ji, perfect, perfect, perfect. Everyone is in audit profession. So when we are issuing an audit report, under which standard we are issuing the report? When we are issuing an audit report, under which standard we issue the audit report? Under SS 700. Under SS 700 series. Manojji says 700 series. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So when we are issuing an audit report under SS 700, a question comes to our mind. What is the difference between the audit report which we are issuing under 700 and erstwhile audit report? What is the difference between the audit report which we are issuing post Companies Act 2013 and earlier audit report? Friends, there is no need to write the membership number. You will get the CP credits, due credits. Sumit Das ji, Bharat ji, Avik ji, please no need to write the membership number. So my question is, what is the difference between audit report which we are issuing now and audit report prior to 2013, Companies Act 2013? Is there any difference, first of all? Can you write yes or no, whether you feel there is any difference in audit reports? I'll be waiting for the answer, friends. Whether you feel, Hitesh ji says, yes, there is some difference. Om Prakash ji says, Manoj sir says, Praveen ji says, perfect, perfect. So what is the difference? Let's understand the audit report which we are issuing under SS 700 and erstwhile when we were issuing the audit report, Companies Act 2013 has made, Companies Act 2013 has made standards on audit compulsory. Vivek, compulsory? Matlab, standards on audit compulsory? Yes, it's compulsory. Earlier, we used to say standards on audit was known as, my seniors who are here, can you say what was standards on audit known as earlier? Standards on audit को किस नाम से पहले माना जाता था, किस नाम से हम लोग उसको बुलाते हैं? बैंग ऑन मनोज जी। double AS, accounting and audit assurance standards. It was auditing assurance standard double AS, and in between it was also known as SAP, standard audit practice. So SAP, double AS, then SA. Companies Act 2013 came and said, as per section 143, that whenever you are doing audit, you are required to do audit as per audit. तो अब कोई आके बोलता है विवेक जी आप ऑडिट कैसे किए, मैं बोलता हूँ मैंने स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से ऑडिट किया। कोई आके बोलता नितेश जी आपने ऑडिट कैसे किया, मैंने स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिट के हिसाब से किया। कोई आके बोलता पल्लवी जी आपने ऑडिट कैसे किया, मैंने स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिट के हिसाब से किया। तो सब लोग एक स्टैंडर्ड सिस्टम और स्टैंडर्ड एक फ्रेमवर्क है उसके अंतर्गत ऑडिट करें। एवरीवन इज डूइंग ऑडिट एज पर द स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑडिट, और everyone is expected to do audit as per standards and audit. And compliance with section 143 is very, very, very important. Non-compliance may lead to penal charges. So section 143 बोलता है standards and audit compulsory है, पहले वो optional regulatory या guidance था। तो 143 Companies Act 2013 ने standards and audit को compulsion बना दिया। Are you all with me? सेक्शन 143 ने कंपनीज एक्ट में स्टैंडर्ड ऑडिट को कंपल्शन बना दिया। इसीलिए हम लोग जो भी ऑडिट रिपोर्ट देते हैं ऐसे 700 में, वहां हम लिखते हैं कि मैनेजमेंट का ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, दिस इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट, दिस इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द ऑडिटर, एंड व्हाट वी राइट दैट वी हैव डन आवर ऑडिट एज पर स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑडिट। हम लोग यही लिखते हैं। डू वी राइट एनीथिंग एल्स? We say we have done our audit as per standards on audit. Correct?
Yes.
So, life is all about moving on. And as 2022 passes and 2023 knocks, something is on the door, AQMM for audit profession. And something which is very, very important is the requirement of standards and audit, because now there's something called Nfra, which is over our head every time. Many of you have gone through the observations made by Nfra in regard to various audits which has been done, and the chartered accountants are being debarred and penalized. So Vivek, how to keep on moving? By understanding the standards and audit. Vivek, why you're saying so much about standards and audit? Why you are focusing on the importance of standards and audit? Because my friend, this is actually important. As recently concluded regional conference was there, our president Debashish Mitra from East, representing India in World Accounting Congress, said that assurance is a specialized job, which I have been saying for last 5-6 years. That earlier we used to see a direct tax consultant, we used to say an indirect tax consultant. We never say I am an audit specialized, I was an assurance specialized. कोई भी अपने आप को ऑडिट या एश्योरेंस का स्पेशलाइज नहीं बोलता, उसको स्पेशलाइज फील्ड नहीं मानता था, बिकॉज पीपल यूज्ड टू से दैट ऑडिट इज नॉट अ स्पेशलाइज्ड जॉब. दे यूज्ड टू से डायरेक्ट tax is a specialized job, they used to say indirect tax is a specialized job. No one thought assurance to be a specialized job. But now with this coming to 2023, there will be many things happening in audit sphere, many things happening in assurance ecosystem. Why, Vivek? Because the more you learn that you still have a lot to learn. Fact of life, आप जितना भी बोल लो, सीपी कंप्लायंस क्यों है? क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं आप पढ़ाई करें, लेटेस्ट डेवलपमेंट के बारे में जानें एंड उसे इम्प्लीमेंट करें. So fact of life, the more you learn that you still have a lot to learn. So today we are discussing, we'll have an introduction on the audit standards. Thereafter we'll be discussing the audit evidence, sampling, and then reporting standards. That is the agenda for next 2 hour process, never ending process. तुषार जी सही बात है, नेवर एंडिंग प्रोसेस है, मगर अगर एश्योरेंस में रहना है तो इस प्रोसेस में आना पड़ेगा अपने को. There is a big transition in the audit profession, big transition. And last 6 years, there have been a transition, but next 6 years or next 5 years will be a big transition. And that is the reason people are not talking about auditing firm and consulting firm. यहाँ तक कि big four also they are talking that separate the audit and consultancy business. If you are an audit firm, you have to focus only on audit. You should not do consulting. That is the reason why in AQMM also, if your total billing of the firm from audit or assurance is more than the 50%, then you get 12 marks in the AQMM out of 600. 12 marks इसको दिया गया कि आप audit specific firm हो क्या. If you are audit specific firm, you will get more points. More points means more business will fall off audit in your sphere. Audit नया चीज है क्या? Vishnu Kautilya, also known as Chanakya, introduced the concept of audit in his book Earth Niti. And Birbal, a great auditor for Emperor Akbar, gave him facts and solutions on several complex matters. वही हम लोग क्लाइंट के लिए करते हैं, उनका जो प्रॉब्लम्स होता है उसका सॉल्यूशन देते हैं. So audit is nothing new. It has been there since long. So we have been harping on this, that we are doing audit as per standards in audit. We are doing audit as per standards in audit. So tell me, friends, how many standards are there in audit? How many standards are there in audit? Come on, use your chat box, friends. It's a two-way communication, because when we used to do P1, OMBC बोल के एक subject था, business communication. Business communication was always said that if the feedback is not received, the communication is not complete. And this chat box is the feedback, or the electrical charger for us, or the battery for us. So right on the chat box, Manoj ji ने बोला है 46. और किसी का कोई जवाब? How many standards are there in audit? It's better we get along over here than in front of a person doing our review under Nfra or a government agency. No one wants to take a wild guess also. 41 ममता जी बोलती है, पल्लवी जी 43. 3 आदमी ने 3 आंसर दिया अभी तक. ऐसे 200 से ऐसे 810. Vinod ji, standards on internal audit are not there in CS levels because sir, statutory audit जो कि एक legal requirement है, उसी को implement नहीं कर पा रहे standards. 32, 38. Let me tell you, friends, there are 45 standards. 45. And why I am harping on this? Because please समझिएगा, if Mr. X comes to review as per Nfra requirement for any of the assignment of yours, and you are writing that I have followed all the standards on audit, because you are writing that in your report as per SS 700. And if you are writing that, and if someone asks you to please prove that you have followed all the standards, whether you have the document. Yes, Tushar, we are including the SRE, SAE too. All these are related to the audit sphere, static assurance department. Therefore, we are including SRE and SAE too. So my humble request is to have a single pager checklist at least for each standard, so that when someone comes and reviews, there may be gaps in the documentation, but there is something. And it is always taught to us since childhood, something is better than nothing. So are we all on the same page? What about SQC? Is it not a part of SA? SQC is for the quality control of the firm as a whole, Manoj. SQC is the complete quality control of the firm, and it is not included in the SA. It is a master document. It is a framework, you can say, where it is said how to run the firm, what should be the HR policy. And this SQC has gone to the next level and become AQMM now, audit quality maturity model, where out of 600 you will be given marks, and this marks will be openly shared in the website of ICI against your peer review certificate. तो जैसे अगर मेरे फर्म को अगर 400 मिलता है आउट ऑफ 600, तो दिखाया जाएगा कि इस फर्म को 400 मिला 600 में पीयर रिव्यू सर्टिफिकेट के बगल में. तो सीए फाइनल का रिजल्ट जो आता है, देयर इज अ login ID, there is a password, there is a OTP, but over here your marks will be readily available on the net. AQMM. Fact of life, how many of you believe in this? Audit not documented is audit not done. किसी को भी लगता है ये बात सही है, गलत है, क्या है? Audit not documented is audit not done. Only Tushar ji believes with me, and others, Hitesh ji. अगर ये बिलीव नहीं होता है, अगर आपको लगता है मैं कुछ बात गलत बोल रहा हूँ, तो अभी आप एक छोटा सा पिक्चर देखिए. पिक्चर देखना पसंद है? मूवीज. We have around 200 people over here, and let's why not? आजकल आइनॉक्स में भी 200 लोग नहीं मिलते हैं, यहाँ पर मुझे 200 लोग मिल रहे हैं. So let's see a movie. When we sleep, we have this fear कि मेरा नाम ना आ जाए, and most of these probes which are there, most of the issues which are there, most of the cases which are going, it is only about proving that you have followed the standards on audit or not. और कुछ नहीं है. आपने standards on audit follow किया है कि नहीं किया, वही prove करना है. As I was saying, the president of ICA had said in and it was quoted by the Delhi business paper, audit is a serious business. Stay away from it if you can't meet the expectation gap. If you can't meet the expectation gap. So we are talking about audit documentation, correct? And we are also talking about audit evidence. So what is the audit evidence? What is the evidence? My friends, evidence क्या होता है? Document that support our verification. Anyone else? Because there's always a question. Information for arriving at the conclusion. It gives proof of your doings. Evidence means proof to support the findings. Karishma ji ने कहा, evidence means proof to support the finding. Document to express our opinion. I would say supporting to express our opinion. Now, the series SA 500 का जो series है, that is one of the most important series I feel, because it talks about audit evidence. So let me do a walkthrough of SA 500 first. What is the what is audit evidence? As we were discussing, evidence gathered in the course of an audit that supports the auditor's opinion and conclusions, or information collected to support the auditor's judgment and conclusion regarding the organization, program, activity, or function under audit. विवेक बहुत बेसिक कुछ आपने लिख दिया यहाँ पर, कुछ इसको सरल बनाइए, सिंपल बनाइए. इतना पढ़ना होता तो स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ लेते हैं हम लोग. चलिए इसको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई करते हैं. All collected data is not evidence, because if you collect everything and anything on this earth, that will not become an evidence. Data tested against the criteria is evidence. Data tested against the criteria is an evidence. Evidence is in the context of audit findings and test programs that support it. मेरी जो भी audit finding है उसको जो support करता है उसे evidence कहते हैं. हम क्लाइंट are required to search for sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Sources of audit evidence and using the work of a management expert. विवेक क्या होता है देखते हैं. Why audit evidence? A professional requirement by auditing standard. Data collection and sampling techniques should be carefully chosen. The auditor should have a sound understanding of techniques and procedures such as inspection, observation, inquiry, and confirmation to collect audit evidence. हम लोग audit evidence कैसे collect करते हैं? We inspect, we go around the factory and we see कहाँ पर क्या बन रहा है, कैसे बन रहा है, पुराना raw material रखा हुआ है. There are finished goods which are lying since long, whether those are non-moving goods. If we observe our surrounding, we do inquiry, we go and talk in the floor. भैया ये माल गंदा लग रहा है, क्या बात है? Why it is lying over here? Since when it is lying? Sir, this is from the order which was sent last year, which is not moving for last 1 year. Sir, why is this package lying over here? Sir, these packets are the packing material which has been discarded because the company has changed the logo. So, sir, why this has not been written off? Why provision of is not made for this packing material? Inquiry. Confirmation. Confirmation, balance confirmation, debtor confirmation, vendor confirmation. How all of you send confirmation to the clients, to the debtors, creditors, bank? कैसे भेजते confirmation? There's a concept called positive confirmation, negative confirmation. Can anyone tell me what is positive confirmation? What is negative confirmation? आज कुछ मजा आने वाला है. What is positive confirmation? What is negative confirmation? Anyone? We have 206 people in the audience, and I only require the meaning of 2 words. It is defined in standards and audit: positive confirmation and negative confirmation. When we get reply, it's positive. No reply, negative. Soni Sarita ji, perfect, bang on. मतलब जब हम एक confirmation भेजते हैं, positive means that is matching with details. Negative confirmation has reservation. नहीं हितेश जी, ये ऐसे नहीं है. जब मैं आपको मेल भेजता हूँ, सर आपका बैलेंस 200 करोड़ रुपया है. 200 करोड़, यार नया साल आ रहा है, रेजोल्यूशन प्लान बनाएंगे, 200 करोड़ तो देख ही सकते हैं हम लोग. So I would say, sir,
I think there is some network issue. Please thoda sa bear with us. We are checking it.
at my end. Let's continue. So as I was saying, positive confirmation and negative confirmation. So what is positive confirmation? Kindly give a positive confirmation whether I am audible.
Yes, you are audible.
That's positive confirmation. And negative confirmation, I assume if you don't say, then I am audible. So, friends, moving forward, standards on audit will also be amended, and the requirement of Companies Act is going to be amended, where it will be said that only positive confirmation will be required. Only positive confirmation will be required. So, audit evidence क्या होते हैं? Appropriate, sufficient, appropriate quality of the evidence, relevance, reliability, कहाँ से आ रहा है, reliable है कि नहीं है source, क्या relevance है मेरे audit के संदर्भ में, whether it is relevant to my audit, sufficient quantity of the evidence, quality, risks of material misstatement assessment. So, अगर simply पूछा जाए, how we do audit? We do something called vouching. We do something called ledger scrutiny. We get confirmation from bank. We do physical verification of the asset. Correct? What are the process? Audit के process क्या क्या होते हैं? क्योंकि जो process होता है उसी से तो हम audit evidence. Whether I am audible, Shantilal Duggaji says I am not audible. If I am audible, kindly say yes or no.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, thank you. Relevance, reliability, quality, and risks of material misstatement. So when I talk about audit procedure, as I was saying, there's something called substantive procedure, compliance procedure. ये दो शब्द अपने सुने हैं कभी? Yes or no? Write in the chat box, please. Substantive procedure, compliance procedure. Friends, chat box should be active, or else it would seem everyone else's internet is not working. Neha Somani, thanks for confirmation. So what is substantive procedure and compliance procedure? Thanks, Surajji. Thanks for response. So substantive procedure क्या होता है? Compliance procedure क्या होता है? Anyone out there? See, what happens, although standards on audit has become a compulsion from Companies Act 2013, audit as a profession is very old, as already discussed in our earlier slides. So, जो ऑडिट प्रोसीजर हम फॉलो करते हैं उसी को ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में लिखना पड़ेगा स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिट को फॉलो करने के लिए. विवेक एग्जांपल, ये सब activities performed by the auditor to detect material misstatement of fraud, Hitesh says. Many of my seniors are there. When we had done our audit, say in 2006, 7, 8, we used to take the balance sheet, sit with the client. Sir, last year से sales आपका 10% बढ़ गया, क्यों बढ़ा? अरे विवेक जी वो नया प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च किए थे ना इसलिए बढ़ गया. Okay, sir, whether you have entered a new market also? Yes, Vivek ji, we started selling out of Calcutta also. Increase in sale. Sir, your COGS has also improved. Cost of goods sold was earlier 70%, now 68%. Why 2% difference? Vivek ji, because our realization has improved and our costing has fallen. And we have become more efficient because as per my standard costing, my cost per unit has fallen and my yield has increased. So, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का खर्चा बढ़ गया. हाँ विवेक जी, वो नया ऑफिस दिया था ना, उसका भी खर्चा आया. ट्रैवलिंग का खर्चा बढ़ गया. All our seniors have done this since ages. Yes or no? Last year and current year के फिगर को मिलाना, उसको कंपेयर करना, debtors, creditors, everything, there is a comparison and a justification for comparison. This is what we know as analytical procedure. There's a standard on this. This analytical procedure has a standard which says how to do it. तो जो हम लोग पहले करते थे उसी के ऊपर स्टैंडर्ड बना दिया गया, उसको बोला आप डॉक्यूमेंट कर लीजिए आपने जो किया. Then we used to do vouching always, ledger scrutiny, physical verification. So now there's two terms. There's a two terms, test of control and test of detail. क्या आपने कभी इस शब्दों को सुना है? Whether you have heard of test of control and test of detail? एग्जाम के थ्योरी क्लासेस को छोड़ के हितेश जी, टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल एंड टेस्ट ऑफ डिटेल. ये जो टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल और टेस्ट ऑफ डिटेल है, all these are the jargons of standards and audit. It is simple. टेस्ट ऑफ डिटेल अपने जो वोचिंग करते हैं उसको टेस्ट ऑफ डिटेल बोलते हैं. टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल हम लोग जो पॉइंट ऑफ इनिशिएशन से पॉइंट ऑफ कंप्लीशन तक, करेक्ट, पॉइंट ऑफ इनिशिएशन से पॉइंट ऑफ कंप्लीशन तक हम लोग जो वॉक थ्रू करते हैं, वॉक थ्रू विवेक. जैसे कोई अगर बोलेगा मुझे परचेज का टीओसी करना है, सो व्हाट विल बी डन इन दैट? वी विल डू समथिंग कि मैं टीओसी के लिए मेरा किस डिपार्टमेंट में रिक्विजिशन आया, इंडेंट वाज प्रिपेयर्ड, देन एज पर द इंडेंट multiple quotation was received, purchase order was made, purchase after giving the purchase order, product was received, GRN was made, payment was done in due course. So procurement to payment, POP, procurement to payment, PTP का पूरा प्रोसेस इनिशिएशन से कंप्लीशन तक वॉक थ्रू करते हैं, उसको बोलते हैं टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल. इसी का नया नाम आया अभी, इसी का नया नाम आया अभी, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं IFC, इंटरनल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल, जिसमें हम लोग बोलते हैं रिस्क कंट्रोल मैट्रिक्स, RCM. हम लोग पहले भी ये करते थे. वी यूज्ड टू गो टू द क्लाइंट, वी यूज्ड टू से सर अभी क्या खरीदते, कैसा खरीदे, सब प्रोसेस क्या है, सब मल्टीपल कोटेशन आपने लिया, हाँ लिया, सर दिखाइए ना कैसे मल्टीपल कोटेशन दिया, फिर लेवल 1 को कैसे आपने माल का ऑर्डरिंग किया, फिर पीओ कैसे गया, फिर पीओ से माल आया तो जीआरएन कैसे हुआ. वी यूज्ड टू सी ऑल दिस, बट दिस इज नाउ टर्म्ड एज test of control. So audit procedure, compliance procedure, substantive procedure. Compliance procedure is test of control, substantive is test of detail and analytical procedure. मतलब जो डिटेल में, substantive मतलब डिटेल में जो अपने जाते हैं अंदर में. टेस्ट ऑफ ये टेस्ट ऑफ डिटेल में टेस्ट ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शन दैट इज वॉचिंग, टेस्ट ऑफ बैलेंस दैट इज वेरिफिकेशन. Are you okay with this slide? Are you okay with this slide? Are you okay with this slide? I have tried to summarize the procedure of audit in a single slide, complying with the standards on audit. There is something called assertions. What is this assertion? Yes, IFC have a different POC which is termed as RCM, where you try to break down the controls in the process and you see how the controls are effective and what can go wrong. What is the risk? How the risks are mitigated via controls. That's why it is known as risk control metrics. But at the end of the day, we are checking the internal financial control, and in test of control also you are checking the control. The format may be different, but the end result moves to the same. If you are in your IFC, the controls are weak, your test of detail will increase. In TOC, if your controls are weak, if the risks of material misstatements are there, your test of detail will increase. I hope I have answered your question, Hitesh ji. Friends, what is assertions? कभी सुना है ये शब्द assertion? Apart from SA 500 evidence and SA 530 sampling and the reporting standard, we have had regular sessions, so we know more or less kya hai. But words like assertions, test of control, test of detail is not regularly used in the mid-size firm. So I am trying to focus on this. Assertions are defined in SA 315. They are representation made by the management embodied in financial statement used to assess potential misstatement. Assertions tested through compliance procedure, existence, effectiveness, continuity, compliance, मतलब controls. Controls का जब हम checking करते हैं हम क्या देखते हैं control exist करता है कि नहीं करता है, controls effective है कि नहीं, and control is there only for the one time or it is continuously it is being implemented and followed. So these three assertions are tested through compliance procedure. Assertions tested through compliance procedure, substantive procedure. There is a mistake in typing. It should be completeness, existence, accuracy, valuation, presentation. Valuation like stock valuation, presentation balance sheet में कैसे present किया गया है, transaction complete हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है, transaction exist होता है कि नहीं होता है. Please see this slide for 1 second. To check transactions and events, occurrence, completeness, accuracy, cutoff, classification, account balance at the period end we take for checking the existence of the transaction, FD है कि नहीं, exist करता है कि नहीं, bank balance है कि नहीं, exist करता है कि नहीं, rights and obligation, completeness, valuation, allocation, presentation and disclosure. We do this procedure to see the occurrence, rights and obligation, classification, understandability, accuracy and valuation. So all this about assertion which is there in 315. And so friends, after assertion, let me take you to our next area. Procedure to obtaining audit evidence. As I was saying, we do inspection, we do observation, we do inquiry, we take confirmation, we do computation, analytical procedure. So these are the procedure for obtaining the audit evidence. Types of evidence: physical evidence, observation, photographs, charts, maps. Corroborate physical evidence. What is the meaning of this word corroborate? Cross-check. Cross-check the physical evidence with other types of evidence. Correlate your physical evidence with other types of evidence. Oral evidence, statement in response to audit inquiries or interviews, either provide a background or a lead for further examination. Employees of the entity, beneficiary, experts and consultants. It will be essential to corroborate the oral evidence. Cross-check oral evidence with physical evidence. You require something to prove in the court of law the oral evidence which was taken was correct or not. So how do you cross-check the oral evidence? By written confirmation by the personal interview. जिससे आपने interview लिया, discussion किया, उसको बोला सर एक mail कर दिया सर हम लोगों ने आज ये discussion किया था. This was the minutes of the meeting. Kindly confirm. By way of multiple independent sources, by checking the records later, आपने कुछ बोला उसको check करने के लिए records को check किया गया. By entrusting the collection of evidence to independent organization. In case of survey through independent agencies, it is also important to note that surveys are generally corroborative evidence, मतलब secondary evidence है, वो first primary evidence नहीं हो सकता है. Documentary evidence क्या क्या होता है? It in physical or electronic form, both internal as well as external. Internal documentary evidence, accounting and information records, copies of outgoing correspondence, plan, budget, annual report, internal audit reports. Evidence from external source कैसा हो सकता है? Any coming correspondence, external evaluation surveys. In most of the cases, the external evidence is also obtained from the records of the entity. The reliability, relevance, and sufficiency of the documentary evidence should be assessed in relation to the objective of the audit. Audit कर उसमें क्या reliable है क्या नहीं है? Because as I said, the evidence should be such which supports what we are saying. Don't make your audit documentation, audit evidence cumbersome and too heavy or too large. Be specific. I have to prove this. I want this paper to prove this. Analytical evidence, analysis and verification of data, which can involve computation, analysis of rates, trends, and patterns, comparison against standards and benchmark, can be both numerical and non-numerical. We have discussed this. Evidence का source क्या होता है? Policy statement, legislation, published program performance data, management reports and reviews, MIS, files of the entity on the subject, website, audited entities, regulators, and other related entities, department sources, auditors observation, physical verification, inspection, internal auditor observation. So policy statement, legislation क्या हुआ? Policy document, operating guidelines and manuals, published program performance data, budget, accounts, including output plan document, performance budget. So all this talks more detail about evidence. किस तरह का evidence मिलता है, कहाँ से क्या evidence लेना है हमें. Important files क्या हो सकता है? Budget files, management control, internal audit reports, complaints and disputes. Listed company has to maintain a register about the complaints received from investors, जो कि SEBI की requirement है. External sources, independent surveys, evaluation, research. Physical verification, HOD may make an assessment. This is an important part. When we are doing physical of assets, it should be, or inventory, it should be the auditor and the auditee, both should be present and both should sign the document. Outsourcing the physical observation to agency of repute and supplementing the observed result with photograph, etc., attested by the representative of the entity will also do. But my focus is in the third bullet point for competent evidence joint inspection, in which the result of such inspection is certified by the representative of the entity holding responsible position. This is very, very important. Reliability, if the observation is highly significant and material, अगर आपका कोई issue निकला, issue बहुत important है, तो evidence भी strong होना पड़ेगा. It will require stronger evidence to sustain. The strength of evidence should be very high when the degree of risk associated with wrong conclusion is high. If I am giving a qualified report, if I am giving an adverse report, then I should have sufficient strong evidence to, on the basis of which I have given a qualified report, on the basis of which I have given an adverse report, on the basis of which I have given a disclaimer of report. Evidence needs to be more convincing if the issue is controversial or sensitive. Any issue as of now in what we have discussed, हम लोगों ने अभी तक जो भी डिस्कस किया उसमें कोई इशू है क्या? हम लोगों ने अभी तक जो डिस्कस किया उसमें कोई इशू है किसी को? प्लीज राइट यस और नो इन चैट बॉक्स, फ्रेंड्स. Friends, please write yes or no. I hope you all are there. No, no, no. So, all crystal clear? Thank you for confirming, friends. Thank you for confirming. Back to my presentation. So factors affecting the evidence: samples selected are not representative. Sufficiency: evidence collected relate to an isolated occurrence. Evidence is incomplete and does not establish a cause and effect relationship. Evidence is conflicting. Evidence is biased. We are giving an audit report. We are saying that company has physically verified the fixed asset regularly at regular intervals. And when we see the balance sheet, there is no fixed asset. Evidence mismatching. We are writing that we have the physical verification of inventory was done during the year and nothing material was reported. There is no evidence to see that you have checked the physical verification report, or you don't have the summary or the copy of the physical verification report. Therefore, when we talk about evidence, how is evidence analyzed? Set objective, define criteria, collect and analyze evidence, test and evaluate the evidence against various criteria. So I think we had a detailed discussion in evidence. Evidence क्यों चाहिए? कहाँ दिखाना evidence को? Why we require evidence? Nitesh ji, will come to your question. Can you park it because it is in regard to the reporting standard? When we come to the reporting standard, right now we are talking on evidence. So as I was saying, anyone interested to see a movie? I have to just stop the share and then share with sound. Kindly confirm audio is there.
Yes, audio is there.
हाँ बोलिए वकील साहब। हजूर
15 साल पहले मेरे क्लाइंट सीताराम के रिश्तेदार
आप पहली बार कोर्ट आ रहे हैं क्या? खड़े होके बात कीजिए, तमीज नहीं है?
सॉरी हजूर 15 साल पहले मेरे क्लाइंट सीताराम के रिश्तेदारों ने संपत्ति के लालच में उनका झूठा डेथ सर्टिफिकेट बना दिया और सारी संपत्ति पे कब्जा कर लिया। अब पिछले 15 सालों से वो ये साबित करना चाह रहा है कि वो जिंदा है। बताइए।
मेरे पास जो पेपर है ना, उनके मुताबिक आपका क्लाइंट 15 साल पहले मर चुका है। ये देखिए डेथ सर्टिफिकेट है और ये ग्राम पंचायत की लेटर है और तहसीलदार की रिपोर्ट है।
वो तो सब कागज है ना जनाब, लाश तो आपके सामने जिंदा खड़ी है।
खड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ? आप कोई सरकारी कागज लेके आइए जिसमें इनका नाम लिखा हो सीताराम। कोर्ट जो है वो कागज का भूखा होता है। आप कागज में ले आइए, मैं तो ये भी मानने के लिए तैयार हो जाऊंगा कि ये शाहरुख खान है।
ऐसा ना करे मालिक।
So, what do we understand by this small clip? What do we understand by this small clip? कोर्ट कागज का भूखा होता है। So now you understand the importance of evidence. So if our documentation is not proper, if we are not able to prove that we have done audit as per standards and audit, which we are writing in our report, that we have done audit as per standards and audit, because that is the format of SS 700, then what will happen to us? This may be just a glimpse. There's another essay, although it was not there in the discussion, I'm just trying to touch it. Essay 501, audit evidence for specific consideration for selected items. How do you take a confirmation about legal cases or contingent liability? Anyone? How do you take a confirmation for contingent liability? Tusharji says legal expert review, inquiry with management. Anyone else? Management representation backed by various sites of taxation departments, legal expense ledger. Very good, Tusharji. Thank you, Manojji, for the reply. Anyone else? Balance confirmation from creditors. Contingent liability. We are discussing about contingent liability. There are three different areas: inventory, which talks about existence and conditions, litigation and claims, completeness, and segment information. The SA 501 is specific on these three areas. Obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. For inventory, we have to check for existence and conditions. As I was saying, whether the condition is good or bad, it is a non-moving stock, lying since long. Litigation and claims completeness, whether you have taken into record all the legal cases or not. And segment information. So attendance at physical inventory counting, evaluate management instruction and procedure for recording and controlling result, observe performance of management procedure, inspect inventory, perform test count, sample basis not physical career, and audit inventory records. Record accurately reflect actual inventory count or not. So book ko physical ko mapping kariye. If physical inventory counting is conducted at the date other than the date of the financial statement, the auditor shall perform audit procedure to obtain audit evidence about whether change in inventory between the count date and date of the financial statement are properly recorded. जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं roll back and roll forward procedure. Suppose आपने 3 तारीख को inventory लिया, तो 3 दिन का पीछे COVID time में many times physical verification was not done on 31st, but on different dates. So adjustment for the transaction on the different dates was done to reach to the inventory verification of the balance sheet date. Inventory lying with the third party, you request for the confirmation from the third party, perform inspection of the documents and other audit procedure. If you're not able to satisfy yourself with the direct procedure, you should also go for the indirect way of getting a comfort for yourself whether the inventory is there or not. Like there is a suppose inventory is management says there is an inventory lying at the port, bonded warehouse. So bonded warehouse का rent का खर्चा आ रहा है कि नहीं, भाड़ा का खर्चा आ रहा है कि नहीं, it's a rent is per ton you have to pay. So if I say 20 ton is lying over there, whether 20 ton for 6 months, so whether for 20 ton every month there a bill is coming or not, you can check in that way as well. Now there's GST is also linked, so GST register also whether the goods is lying at the third party or not, at the job workers. All this different way of collecting evidence is very important. Attendance at physical inventory counting is impractical many a time. Litigation and claim completeness inquiry, review of the legal expenses, review of the minutes of the meeting of TCWG, review if the risk of material misstatement regarding litigation claim is identified. Auditor shall also communicate directly with entities external legal counsel. Direct communication with entities external legal counsel. There is a format in which format you have to send to the letter to the legal counsel, how to take a reply from the legal counsel. It is there in the standard itself. If management refuses to communicate to the external legal counsel, you have to give a qualified opinion because that is a limitation to your audit. If the external legal counsel refuses to respond appropriately, prohibited from responding, auditor unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence by performing alternative audit procedure, then you have to give a qualified opinion. You are not getting details from management. You are not getting details from the legal counsel. In no way you are able to ascertain or you are not able to collect sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Then you have to give a qualified opinion. As somebody already said, you can also take written representation from TCWG, those charged with governance. Segment information I would not be taking. Audit sampling. Friends, how do we do sampling as of now? How do we conduct or we do sampling as of now? Anyone in the house? Out of all 225 people? Sampling करते कैसे? Random sampling, Hitesh says. Anyone else? I think only Hitesh ji, Pallavi ji, Tushar Goenka ji, they are only answering. Others, please. Sarita Soni ji, others also please try and answer, because it's better we get ourselves wrong over here than to get wrong elsewhere. And आदमी जैसे बोलते बच्चे गिरते हैं तभी खड़ा होना सीखते हैं, अगर यहाँ गलती करेंगे और गलती करके भी सीख जाएंगे तो nothing better than that. Pallavi ji says random sampling. How do we do random sampling, Pallavi ji? Through software, through Excel. Materiality. हितेश जी ने कहा materiality. हाई वैल्यू ट्रांजेक्शन. ओम प्रकाश जी एकदम सही है, हमारे सीनियर्स भी वही हाई वैल्यू ट्रांजेक्शन में ही करते थे विद सैम्पलिंग टेक्निक्स. पल्लवी जी एकदम सही. But you know what happened when earlier it was seen that auditors were seeing high value transaction, the management started doing fraud with the low value transaction, because they got to know that with the high value transaction, but study compliance we have to check even low value. Correct. With high value transaction, the auditor will come and see all the transactions above say 10,000 rupees in cash. तो 3,000, 2,000, 3,000, 2,000 करके उन्होंने फ्रॉड करना चालू कर दिया. So that is called judgmental sampling. So materiality is there, above material limit is there, but apart from above material limit, you can do statistical sampling, you can do random sampling. Excel में you can say number 1 से लेकर number 100 तक हमको 10 वाउचर दीजिए, तो कोई भी 10 वाउचर देगा तो probability of each voucher falling in that is equal. So that can be used, or there is a system called statistical sampling, nth interval, whereby you have voucher number 1, you have voucher number 50. You have to see 10 vouchers. So what we do, 50 divided by 10, 5. Every fifth voucher we will check. So probability of every voucher falling in that fifth voucher is equivalent. The probability of every voucher falling in the fifth voucher is equivalent. So in that basis, we do sampling. Apart from that, we try to cover each and every vendor once. We try to cover each and every item of raw material, say item of sales when we are doing test of control for sales. So sampling cannot be one way. It has to be mixed of 2 or 3. And then whatever we are doing, we have to write over there कि मैंने sampling कैसे किया, मैंने materiality define किया, materiality के basis पे sampling किया, मैंने nth interval के basis पे किया, मैंने रैंडम सैम्पलिंग किया. 3-4 सैम्पलिंग का सिस्टम को अगर हम जोड़ के एक सैंपल बनाते हैं, साइज नंबर ऑफ वाचेस भले उसमें कम रहे, बट प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ ईच वाचर फॉलिंग इन दैट इज इक्विवेलेंट. दैट इज मोर जस्टिफाइड सैम्पलिंग. सो एनीवन who didn't understand what I spoke in last 2 minutes, anyone who didn't understand what I spoke in last 2 minutes, सरिता जी आपको समझ में आया कि नहीं आया? नो सर का मतलब. थैंक यू मनोज जी, सरिता जी थैंक यू. Thanks for the confirmation. As I said, these feedbacks are the real power booster for people like us taking session in the virtual background. So that is the crux of audit sampling. Let's see what the standard says. Auditing. What is auditing? Expression of the opinion. Systematic and independent examination of books, accounts, documents, and vouchers of an organization. Ascertain that the financial statement presents a true and fair view. Ensure that the books of accounts are maintained as required by the law. हम लोग यही ऑडिट करके रिपोर्ट देते हैं. सैम्पलिंग का जो स्टैंडर्ड है वो क्या बोलता है? Auditors' objective regarding opening balances risks that the auditor's conclusion based on sample may be different from the conclusion if the entire population were subject to the same audit procedure. It is called sampling risk. अगर आप 100% वॉचिंग करते और हमने 10% वॉचिंग किया, दोनों में मेरा आउटपुट, मेरा ओपिनियन, मेरा रिजल्ट सेम होता कि नहीं होता, यही सैम्पलिंग का रिस्क है. They can be top-down approach, they can be monetary unit sampling. Requirement 4-step procedure, result audit sampling has not provided a reasonable basis for conclusion. As I was saying, there's something called test of control, test of detail. Risks that the auditor's conclusion based on sample may be different from the conclusion if the entire population was subject to the same audit procedure. Leads to two types of erroneous conclusion. Good items, test of control more effective than they actually are. Test of details, material misstatement does not exist when it does. Leads to inappropriate audit evidence. Bad items, less effective than they actually are. A material misstatement exists when the fact is does not. In fact, it does not. Leads to additional work. अगर मेरा सैंपल में सब नेगेटिव कमेंट्स आते हैं, नेगेटिव वाउचर्स आते हैं, तो मैं बोला कंपनी डब्बा है, कंपनी का पूरा सिस्टम फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट का गलत है. क्यों? मेरे सैंपल में नंबर ऑफ बैड वाउचर्स वर मोर. अगर मेरे सैंपल में नंबर ऑफ गुड वाउचर्स आर मोर, देन मैं क्लीन रिपोर्ट दूंगा, ऑल्दो रिपोर्ट क्लीन नहीं होना चाहिए था. तो दिस इज कॉल्ड दिस सैम्पलिंग रिस्क. टॉप डाउन अप्रोच, मॉनिटरी यूनिट सैम्पलिंग. So what is the requirement? The requirement is sample design, size and selection of item of testing, performing audit procedure on the sample size, projecting misstatements and adjustment of misstatement identified. अगर जो गलती मिला स्टॉक का वैल्यूएशन में, फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन में, उसका मटेरियल जो भी गलती मिला उसका एडजस्टमेंट हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ, वो अपने को करने की रिक्वायरमेंट है. So this is what I was saying. Total sales by the company during the year was 500 crores. Total sales transaction was 10,000 transactions. Total sample size equals to 50 crore consisting of 500 transactions. Misstatement identified in sample 20 lakhs. Therefore, projected misstatement is 20 lakh into 500 crores by 50. 200 lakhs. This is, अगर हमने जितना वाउचर चेक किया है उसमें मेरा जो प्रोजेक्टेड मिसस्टेटमेंट निकला है, हम टोटल उसको ग्लॉस अप करेंगे टोटल ट्रांजेक्शन से और फिर देखेंगे वो जो एरर है whether it's material or it is not. मैंने 10 वाउचर देखा, 10 में से 2 में इशू था, तो 20% इशू था. तो I will again substantiate or gross up to the total sample size. Applying audit procedure to less than 100% of the population, that is audit sampling based on the objective of the audit. Sufficient understanding of the internal control. Standards on audit applies when auditor decides to use audit sampling in performing audit procedure. Deals with auditor's use of statistical non-statistical sampling. मैंने सैम्पलिंग रिस्क के बारे में आपको बताया. एक है टॉलरेबल एरर. हमको मालूम हम सैम्पलिंग करेगा, देयर कैन बी सम मार्जिन ऑफ एरर. I cannot be 100% correct. If I want to be 100% satisfied, I have to see 100% voucher. So whether the tolerable error is the maximum error in the population that the auditor would be willing to accept. If I say out of 100 vouchers I have checked, there is an error of 5%. So 5% is my comfort area. 5% के ऊपर होगा तो मैं और डिटेल में देखूंगा. Expected error. Determining expected error consider matters as the size and frequency of errors identified in previous audit. मेरे को previous audit में मालूम है कि इनका 100 वाउचर में से 5 वाउचर में इश्यू निकलता है. तो 5% इज द कंफर्ट एज पर द 5% एरर निकलने की चांसेस है। तो 5% एक्सपेक्टेड एरर हो गया, 2% टॉलरेबल हो गया हम लोग के हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल में, एंड सैम्पलिंग रिस्क वी हैव डिस्कस्ड। Investigate nature and cause of any deviation or misstatement identified and their possible effect. When you are doing a sampling, sampling में 5 वाउचर आपको निकला कि ये गलती है, what we do, we say कि सर ये 5 गलत है, इसको ठीक करा लीजिए। But the process should be ये 5 गलत हुआ क्यों, प्रोसेस में फेलियर कहाँ था, ये 5 गलत हो गया, और उस फेलियर में और कितना एरर हुआ। We should try and identify the error in the control or error in the process, thereby substantiate the full process of the organization and to get a comfort. For bank borrowing and confirmation, we suggest 100% confirmation. No compromise in bank confirmation. To conclude that a misstatement or deviation is an anomaly, auditor to obtain a high level of certainty that misstatement of deviation is not representative of the population. Audit technique, we have discussed all this: posting, verification, vouching, confirmation, physical examination, reconciliation, testing, analysis of financial statements, inspection and observations, documentary evidence, scanning, electronic data processing, inquiry, computation, analytical review, compliance test, substantive test, use of computer assisted audit technique. Now, allowable audit risk क्या होता है? There is an inherent risk of material misstatement. There is a controlled risk that a material misstatement could occur and will not be prevented or detected on a timely basis. And there is a detection risk that the auditor procedure will fail to detect a material misstatement if it exists. So allowable audit risk that a material misstatement remains undetected equals to inherent risk into control risk into detection risk. Suppose inherent risk is 2%, control risk is 5%, and detection risk is 3%. 2 into 5 equals to 10, into 3 equals to 15. 2 into 5 into 3 is the allowable audit risk. Vivek, why you're talking so deeply in allowable audit risk? This percentage gives you a comfort. I have taken high numbers over here, but gives you comfort कि इतना margin of error allowed है audit में. It's again a perception. It's differ from people to people. As I was just saying, 100% bank confirmation, no compromise on that aspect. Because my allowable audit risk in bank confirmation is 0%. So area to area, you can determine the allowable audit risk and understand your risk appetite, and thereby the controls or the process or the decisions taken by the management to mitigate those risks is very important. So when you're planning for an audit, as you have identified the risk, so which is the high risk area, medium risk area, and low risk area, on the basis of on the high, medium, low risk area, whichever is the high risk area, you have to give more manpower, more resources in those area. Low risk area, you have to give less manpower. Vivek, how to determine high, medium, low risk? By doing a test of control. When you are doing a test of control, आपको दिखाई देता है कि परचेज में इश्यूज बेसी है, सेल्स में कम है, एचआर में कम है, तो आप परचेज डिपार्टमेंट में बेसी रिसोर्स लगा के उसका डिटेल में वॉचिंग कराएंगे. You understand the design of control, control effectiveness. You do a walkthrough. You do transaction audit, process-based risk audit. Easy to give a negative opinion if you have done a process-based risk audit and you find everything has gone for toss. विवेक होता कैसे? Identification, assessment, evaluation, management, response, monitoring. The complete process which we had discussed in the earlier slide in regard to TOC. Hitesh, can management representation we can ask even in case of subsidiary where component auditor is different. I am asking for the point of view of consolidation point of view. Hitesh, when you are using the work of a component auditor in regard to a subsidiary, you have to take a declaration using the work of the other auditor, other experts. उसका एक अलग से फॉर्मेट दिया हुआ है. उस फॉर्मेट के बेसिस में आपको एक डिक्लेरेशन कंपोनेंट ऑडिटर से लेना पड़ेगा. Yes, component letter. You have to take from the auditor itself. Continuous control monitoring in large clients where the audit report is to be given on 10th and 15th of April. Then there is a process called continuous control monitoring, set of technologies to reduce business losses through continuous monitoring, reducing the cost of audit through continuous auditing of controls in financial and other transaction application. Many places, this is also known as pre-audit, where management implements the pre-audit so that anything and everything can be detected at real time. Entries are not allowed to be processed until unless the auditor has checked and said कि इसका GST input मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, इसको TDS कितना काटना है. All the pre-audit happens, so everything falls in line and it is a continuous process. विवेक क्या होता है? बड़े-बड़े कंपनी में होता है. विवेक क्यों होता है? क्योंकि बड़े कंपनी में scope of going wrong is high, and to control that, the systems are working properly. Continuous audit or pre-audits are done. Continuous aspect refer to the real-time or near real-time capability for financial information to be checked and shared. Indicates integrity of information to be evaluated at any given point of time. Information verified constantly for errors, fraud, and inefficiency. But real-time, आज के युग में, in today's time, people don't wait for newspaper in the morning. At the night or at the evening itself, they go to Google News and see the major or main news which are coming. So till the morning when the newspaper weather comes at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, all the major news are known to the people. So in similar way, people don't wait for the audit at the year end. For the private companies also, they have started doing the monthly audit and quarterly audit. So that if I go at the year end and say, sir, April महीना में आपने TDS काटना भूल गया था, whether it will make sense, or if I say in the real time कि sir TDS आपने नहीं काटा, इसको TDS काटे, फिर payment होगा. So large companies, large corporates can afford that and they get it done. What is the advantage? 100% watching, detailed analysis of data, minimal audit risk, no sampling risk because 100% watching audit is happening. Detection and frauds at an early stage so that we can stop it. Challenges: accessing complex diverse system environment, reluctance to expand the use of technology, overwhelming result, training. Continuous audit करने के लिए ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा डिपार्टमेंट अपने टीम को. There is a lots of use of technology like AI, robotic process automation. So you have to invest in technology to get these assignments of the continuous audit. Documentation. Work papers, because of planning and performing of the work, demonstrate that the work was actually performed. Evidential support for conclusion reach, assessment of quality and control. As I was saying, whatever sampling we have done, however we have done, जिस तरह से भी मैंने sampling किया है, you have to document also that how I have done sampling. You have to document what are the process you have followed in your audit. You have to document आपने vouching कैसे किया. You have to document आपने TOC कैसे किया, TD कैसे किया. You have to document आपने किसको confirmation भेजा था, email से भेजा था, physical भेजा था. Everything should be documented because code कागज का भूखा होता है. Suppose if I walk through to your office and say, sir आपने audit कहाँ से किया, सबने vouching कहाँ किया, proof करिए आपने vouching किया. So you think yourself, when your article comes and says, or when your staff comes and says, sir मैंने वॉचिंग कंप्लीट कर लिया, अगर वो प्रूफ कर पाता है कि उसने वॉचिंग किया है एंड आप उसको रिव्यू कर पाते हो तो आपका काम में क्वालिटी भी अच्छा होगा. अगर वो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन प्रॉपर है तो नेक्स्ट आदमी बीच में एग्जाम में बीकॉम के एग्जाम में आजकल जब चला जाता है, स्टाफ चला जाता है कोई भी छुट्टी के कारण, कोई भी मेडिकल इमरजेंसी में, you will start the work from the point till when the documentation has been done, and it will help you that you don't have to repeat the entire process which was done by the earlier team member. So documentation becomes important there also. Now coming to the reporting standards, any doubt or whether I was able to justify the last 1 hour 15 minutes 20 minutes for the 1 hour 25 minutes to the two important topic, evidence and sampling. I was no Hiteshji, soft copy is okay, and until if the same cannot be edited or same cannot be changed. My question was, see, reporting standard SS 700, 701 regular sessions we have discussed, but I was also focusing more on evidence and sampling because these are the two important pillars of any audit assignment. And not only audit only, suppose आपने GST का कुछ काम किया, कंसल्टेंसी का भी काम किया, क्लाइंट आके बोलता है सर आपने तो यहाँ गलत नंबर भर दिया, सर नंबर तो आपने जो दिया था वही भरा, तो प्रूफ कि आपने जो भरा वो सामने वाले ने दिया था कि नहीं दिया था. एक क्लाइंट आया, उसको अपनी ओपिनियन दे दिया, बाद में डिपार्टमेंट आया, बोला वो क्लाइंट तो गलत काम कर रहा है, गलत लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस में था. आपने अपने क्लाइंट का केवाईसी किया था क्या, उसका बेसिक डिटेल लिया था क्या, किस लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस में उसको समझा था क्या, knowing the client business understanding. Why? Because if client has a risk, the partners, the consultant, everyone has a risk with the client. The partners and the others also have a limit. Yeah, Hiteshji has a very good question. I am doing audit, say, of a company which is listed. For the purpose of consolidation, the audit report of the subsidiary associates are also required. We are not required to give a report under SRE 2410 quarter for the quarterly review, because the only purpose of those financials are limited to for the purpose of consolidation. The auditor of the parent company requires that financial for the purpose of consolidation only. It is not required to be published anywhere. It is not required to be given anywhere. Because if you again do the financial as per Ind AS 34 or AS 25, you have to give comparative in that. You have to make cash flow in that, which is not required. And rightly said, SRE 2410 is not revised since 2010, and still it is in the process of getting revision. So when I talk about reporting standard, 3 words or 4 words rather comes to my mind. Number 1, qualified opinion. Number 2, adverse opinion. Number 3, disclaimer of opinion. And number 4, unqualified opinion. Can anyone tell me what is a qualified opinion? देखिए बीच बीच में मैं आपको ब्रेक दे रहा हूँ चैट बॉक्स नहीं यूज करने का. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि चैट बॉक्स बंद कर देंगे आप. We have to be there in the chat box. That is the window between you and me. So what is a qualified opinion, my friends? We have around 225 people. So qualified opinion. Wednesday morning, we are discussing about the audit reports. Anyone, what is qualified opinion? True and fair, except some point of view. Sarita Soluji. Others? An auditor's opinion that the financials are fairly presented with the exceptions of specific area. Material misstatement. Hiteshji, Tusharji, Saritaji. 3 most active members in today's deliberation. And Pallaviji, obviously, where we put some reservation with opinion. Anyone else? What is adverse opinion? What is adverse opinion, friends? Negative remarks. Misrepresentation. Company's financial statements are misrepresented, misstated, and do not accurately reflect. Material and pervasive. Tushaji, what is pervasive? What is pervasive? As a whole. Important. Describes that effects or possible effect on the financial. And what is disclaimer of opinion? I am discussing these words because many people get confused between these words, what to report, where to report, how to report. No opinion. The audit material, the material audit evidence are not there. Therefore, I am not able to give an opinion. The auditor is not able to form an opinion. Perfect. Perfect, Manojji. Perfect, Tushaji. Perfect. Sumit Dasji, disclaimer, unable to form any opinion. When is an auditor unable to give any opinion? When he doesn't get sufficient appropriate audit evidence, SAAE. Correct. Because of unavailability of evidence. Now there is a two more paragraphs. One is called emphasis of matter, other is called other matters. Difference. One is called emphasis of matter, other and the other one is said as other matter paragraph. Difference. ये 4, 2, 6 शब्दों को जिसने समझ लिया उनका रिपोर्टिंग कभी गलत नहीं हो सकता है. Those who are able to crack this 4 types of report, 2 paragraph, उनका रिपोर्ट कभी भी गलत नहीं हो सकता है. What is emphasis of matter? Or when do we give emphasis of matter? When do we give emphasis of matter, my friends? Come on. Any specific point? Tushaji. Others? Sarita ji, Hitesh ji, Pallavi ji. Okay. Apart from remarks qualifying the opinion matter, which although do not qualify the opinion, but the auditor wants to highlight while forming the opinion. If auditor wants to highlight something while forming the opinion, it is an emphasis of matter. Then what is other matter paragraph? The auditor has to bring something to stakeholders' notice, but not qualified opinion. Correct, Manoj ji. Now, emphasis of matter समझ में आ गया सबको. Other matter और emphasis of matter दोनों में यही point है. When the auditor has to bring something to the stakeholders' notice, but not qualified opinion, it can be given in other matter also. It can be given in emphasis of matter also. When will we give an emphasis of matter? When will give in other matter? They are to be reported by the management. These are to be reported by the management. Other matters. Okay, let me clarify. We give emphasis of matter when we want to highlight something to the stakeholders, but not qualifying the audit report. And this highlight which we are doing is in regard to something which is present in the financial statement. Like कोविड का इफेक्ट के बारे में नोट दिया हुआ था, ऑडिटर ने उसको एम्फसाइज किया, उस पर एम्फेसिस दिया, उसको हाईलाइट किया, मगर क्वालिफाई नहीं किया. Okay, not okay? Other matter is also which auditor wants to highlight for the better understanding of the financials, not a qualified report, but this other matter paragraph relates to something which is not present in the financial statement. मतलब मैं stakeholders को कुछ बताना चाहता हूं as an auditor, जिससे stakeholders को better understanding होगी financials के बारे में, मगर जो मैं बताना चाहता हूं वो कहीं पर भी notes में, balance sheet में कहीं पर दिया हुआ नहीं है. That's why when you do consolidated financial statement, you give a other matter paragraph in regard to audited by someone else, subsidiary company, associate company. ये बात तो बैलेंस शीट में कहीं लिखा हुआ नहीं है कि मेरा सब्सिडी का ऑडिटर कौन है, एसोसिएट का कौन है. तो ये मैं इसलिए अदर मैटर पैराग्राफ में देता हूँ. When there is a new auditor is appointed, then previous audit figures were not audited by me. This you give in other matter paragraph. This you give in other matter paragraph because again ये बैलेंस शीट में कहीं लिखा हुआ नहीं है कि प्रीवियस ऑडिटर कोई और था, इस बार ऑडिटर कोई और है. So both are information to which the auditor wants to highlight for better understanding to the stakeholders without qualifying. But emphasis of matter is that paragraph which is about something which is given in financial statement and you want to highlight. Other matter is that paragraph which is not given in financial statement but you want to highlight. Other matter when we have not audited the balance sheet and audited by other auditing, correct? So it may also happen sometimes we are asking the management to give a paragraph, management is reluctant to give it, and we as an auditor want to give it. So हम emphasis कभी नहीं देंगे क्योंकि emphasis में मुझे note number लिखना पड़ता है. हम other matter paragraph देंगे. जैसे in sometimes if your client suppose a client is there जिसका account NPA हो गया और वो interest का provision नहीं कर रहा है, you can give a qualified opinion also. मगर interest का provision बहुत छोटा है, कोई material effect नहीं है, कहीं पर notes में नहीं लिख रहा है, तो we go to other matter paragraph. Other matter and key audit matter is a big difference. Other matter paragraph is something we want to highlight to the stakeholders, but not a qualified opinion. Key audit matter is something we want to say. Just imagine, Tushaji, there was 100 balance sheets. You read 100 balance sheets and you read the audit report of all the 100 balance sheets of a listed company. The audit report will be same. Word to word, comma, full stop. If all the 100 balance sheets are unqualified report, then word to word, verbatim to verbatim, it will be copy and paste. So the stakeholders started saying that auditor report to data है, मगर उसका कोई benefit नहीं होता, कुछ समझ में नहीं आता auditor करता क्या है. So key audit matter says that what were the key audit matters for that year for which you have done the audit. Or what is the key audit matter when you are doing the audit of this client? मतलब, if a client is say asset intensive, तो asset को कैसे check किया, नया calculation कैसे check किया, physical verification को कैसे check किया. If client is employee intensive, payroll का checking कैसे हुआ, salary का checking कैसे हुआ. If client is again asset intensive, तो deferred tax का बड़ा effect आएगा, deferred tax liability आपने कैसे check किया. So key audit matter is in respect to the audit of the client, which you want to highlight, or which was the key area for the audit for that year. Suppose client के पास 115 नया लागू हुआ, 115 से effect हो रहा है, Ind AS 115 से company का बड़ा effect हो रहा है, implications है, तो 115 का आपने checking कैसे किया? Company is into say in the business of retail, company has 500 shops across India. 116 operating lease has come, the lease accounting has come. So what is the effect of lease accounting right to use of the asset, how you have done the checking कि वो lease accounting गलत checking नहीं हुआ है, how you have done the checking, that is the key audit matter. Hitesh ji, it again depends. The concept of deemed listed company is not there. It is applicable only for the listed company. But the auditor of the listed company can ask you, ki, what is the key audit matters for your assignment? Friends, you are clear about qualified opinion, adverse opinion, disclaimer of opinion, unqualified opinion. You are clear about emphasis of matter. You are clear about other matter. You are clear about key audit matters. So we have discussed these 7 tick marks in regard to the reporting standards, correct? And we all have discussed since inception of our discussion today that we issue report as per SS 700, correct? I would also like to highlight one important aspect. It's a humble request. Never ever give a certificate saying to whomsoever it may concern. Because there is a guidance note of the institute which says how you have to give a report. It says how you have to give a certificate. Like in the audit report, you are saying what is the responsibility of the auditor, what is the responsibility of the management, what is the opinion you are giving, what is the restriction of the use, it is for the general purpose or the public at large. We have to follow special purpose guidance. And why I am saying this? 2 days back, one of my new client which is there, called me up for a certificate. मैंने उनको सर्टिफिकेट दिया तो बोला सर ये नहीं चलेगा सर, तो होम से में कंसर्न देना पड़ेगा सर. हम बोला सर नहीं दे सकते. क्यों नहीं दे सकते सर? हमारे बाकी जो ग्रुप कंपनी के ऑडिटर उन्होंने दिया, जो कंपनी मर्ज हो रही है, आप क्यों नहीं दे सकते? सर अलाउड नहीं है. सर वो भी तो सी है, वो दे दें, आप बोलते अलाउड नहीं है. हम बोला सर आपका जो भी मर्जर देखा है उस आदमी से बोलिए मुझसे बात करेगा, मैं देख के बता दूंगा. आफ्टर 2 days दे कॉल्ड अप, सर हाँ आपका सर्टिफिकेट ठीक है, इससे मेरा मर्जर नहीं रुकेगा. I mean to say, please stick to the format of the institute, because again, this is also assurance work. If you don't stick to the guidance note, if you don't define the responsibility of you as an auditor, if you don't define the responsibility of the management in this certificate, and if anything goes out of the way in the certificate के चलते अगर कोई केस होता है, आपको कोई नहीं बचा पाएगा. आपको कोई नहीं बचा पाएगा. So it's a humble request, follow the special purpose guidance note in regard to the issue of the certificate. Are we all on the same page? मैंने जो लास्ट 20-25 मिनट बोला समझ में आया नहीं आया? The things which we discussed in last 15-20 minutes was crystal clear, because see, reporting standard, audit standard पे कोई क्यों नहीं सुनता है? बहुत बोरिंग लगता है. तो जितना इंटरेस्टिंग हो सकता था मूवी दिखा के जॉली एलएलबी से स्लाइड्स को उस तरह से बना के मैंने कोशिश किया सिंप्लीफाई करने का. थैंक्स फॉर द पॉजिटिव कंफर्मेशन सरिता जी, पल्लवी जी, तुषार जी. No, Hitesh ji, if any department has an issue, we ask the department to kindly write over the mail and then we'll take a confirmation from CA Institute, because we are governed under CA Institute. So we take the confirmation from, we ask the department to give a mail and then we go for the certificate. Not only this, many a time the bankers will come and say, sir, आपको लोन चाहिए, मुझे ऑडिटर से सर्टिफिकेट दिलाइए कि ये लोन जिस पर्पस के लिए आप ले रहे हैं उसी के लिए यूज करेंगे. मेरे क्लाइंट ने फोन किया, विवेक 50 करोड़ का लोन है, ये सर्टिफिकेट देना दे दो ना. मैं बोला सर मैं नहीं दे सकता. बोला क्यों? सर मैं बोल रहा ट्रू एंड करेक्ट, रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस नहीं है, ट्रू एंड करेक्ट बोल रहा हूँ सर सर्टिफिकेट में. आपको मालूम है आप लोन किस लिए यूज करेंगे? बस नहीं, मैं तो पर्पस जिसके लिए उसी के लिए यूज करूंगा, मुझे मालूम नहीं है. पर जब आपको नहीं मालूम, मैं एज ऑडिटर कैसे मालूम रखूंगा? मैंने सर्टिफिकेट दे दिया, आपने किसी और पर्पस में यूज कर लिया, जेल तो मैं जाऊंगा. पैसा उसने दिया, ब्याज उसने कमाया, लोन आपने लिया, एंजॉय आपने किया, जेल मैं जाऊं 1000, 2000, 5000 का सर्टिफिकेट के लिए? So Please try to question the client and the responsible authority why this certificate is required, under which purpose it is required, whether it is required by the statutory auditor under any law. Because just to take a comfort, they will say, sir, आपके statutory auditor से आपके CA से एक certificate लाइए कि जिस purpose के लिए आप loan ले रहे हैं उसके लिए use करेंगे. How can you give a certificate on something futuristic which is not under your control? Please try and understand that this is for the benefit of all the 230 members who are listening to me. Because now there's Nfra and everything, everyone is there knocking at the door. तो छोटे-छोटे सर्टिफिकेट के लिए भी आपको नोटिस आ सकता है. It's a humble request. 2022 तक जो हुआ सो हुआ. 2023 से एक ऑफिस में पॉलिसी बना लीजिए, इसके बिना काम नहीं होगा. So let's move to our reporting standards. We have discussed everything. I'll just go through the slides for you all. SS 700, forming an opinion and reporting on financial statement. SS 701, communicating CAM. SS 705, modification to the opinion in the independence auditor's report. And SS 706, emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. We have discussed all these 4 legs. Let's move forward. Audit का format change हुआ. Title is there, addressee is there, auditor's opinion. पहले क्या होता था? Auditor's opinion नीचे आता था, basis of opinion नीचे आता था. अब नहीं, सबसे important, आदमी जब नीचे तक पहुंचता है, audit report पढ़ने की क्षमता खत्म हो जाती है. तो opinion पहले दीजिए, फिर basis of conclusion, going concern where applicable, key audit matters, other information, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट फॉर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट. ऑडिटर का क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? यहीं पर हम लिखते हैं कि मैंने क्या क्या प्रोसेस फॉलो किया. जैसे यहाँ पर आप लिखते हो, उसी सर्टिफिकेट में लिखिए आपने कैसे सर्टिफिकेट के लिए चेकिंग किया, कैसे आप तुरंत करेक्ट दे रहे हैं. अदर रिपोर्टिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, सिग्नेचर. नाउ फ्रेंड्स, यहाँ पर एक वर्ड है, गोइंग कंसर्न. तुषार जी, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड टेंडर में जो प्री स्पेसिफाइड फॉर्मेट होता है नेटवर्क एंड अदर्स का, उसमें भी मैं स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्मेट देता हूं और टेंडर वाले फॉर्मेट को मैं अपना एनेक्सर बना देता हूं और बोलता हूं मेरे एनेक्सर को रेफर कर दीजिए. इफ देयर इज अ विल देयर इज अ वे. तुषार जी, तो मैं टेंडर का जो फॉर्मेट होता है उसको मैं एनेक्सर का पार्ट बना देता हूं और सर्टिफिकेट अपने स्पेसिफिक फॉर्मेट में देता हूं और क्लाइंट को बोलता हूं भैया एनेक्सर आप लगा दीजिए टेंडर में. Hitesh ji, if company has losses, current liability are more than total asset, but promoter is giving financial support, in that case, how we can report? Again, going concern check करने की प्रथम responsibility किसकी है? Who is required to check the going concern first? Management. They have to give in the actors report and other areas. तो उनको बोलिए अपना वर्किंग पेपर दीजिए. फिर मैनेजमेंट जब कंफर्ट लेटर दे रहा है तो उस कंफर्ट लेटर को आप चेक कैसे करते हैं? Management says whenever required, I will give you the pay, I will bring the money. Whether you have the network certificate of the promoters, how you have taken the comfort, whether management बोलता है अगर 25 करोड़ का लॉस है, मैनेजमेंट बोलता है कल पैसा लग गया मैं 50 करोड़ लेके आऊंगा, तो मैनेजमेंट का 50 करोड़ का नेटवर्क है क्या लाने का? करेक्ट. नेटवर्क सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ promoters. Not only this, I am again focusing on going concern. From this year, we have started giving a paragraph that management or company will be able to meet its liabilities in near future. जो financial statement में भी आता है और कारों की रिपोर्टिंग में भी आता है. भगवान ने कल आपने ऐसा रिपोर्ट दे दिया क्लीन एंड 3 महीना बाद IBC होता है, कंपनी इज नॉट एबल टू मीट इट्स लायबिलिटी, तो आप क्या करोगे? आपके पास क्या डॉक्यूमेंट है प्रूव करने के लिए कि आपने गोइंग कंसर्न चेक कर लिया? जितने रेशियो एनालिसिस हम लोगों ने क्लास 11-12 में पढ़ा था, बीकॉम में पढ़ा था, सीए में पढ़ा था, सब रेशियो एनालिसिस बना के टेबल बना लीजिए. उसी के बेसिस में बता पाओगे कि कंपनी का लॉस है, मगर लॉस कैसे भरपाई हो रहा है, मैनेजमेंट ने नया लोन लिया या मैनेजमेंट ने अपना पैसा लाया. फिर रेशियो एनालिसिस के हिसाब से क्या लग रहा है, मैनेजमेंट ने लास्ट 2 साल में कितना बार डिफॉल्ट किया है पेमेंट करने में. All this should be properly documented. Then only you can discuss about going concern, or else you will not be able to discuss about going concern. I think I'm crystal clear because going concern बहुत important है. कालों में reporting that management will be able to meet this liability in near future is very important, because if we give a clean report and if the company goes in IBC, there can be a question mark on the audit. That is my assumption, my take on this. Maybe someone can have other opinion, but that is my take. We should document going concern properly. It is very important into this atmosphere ecosystem. Are you all with me? Nitesh ji, Tushar ji. Thanks for your confirmation, Gunjan ji, Bharat Kumar Agarwal ji. Please see this flowchart. इस पे मंथन करें. नेहा सोमानी जी, thank you for confirmation. If financial statement adequately disclose significant accounting policy, consistency and appropriateness of accounting policy with financial reporting framework, reasonableness of the accounting estimates, relevance, reliable, comparability, and understandability of the information in the financial statement is there. Disclosures are adequate to enable the users to understand effect of material transaction or events info in financial statement. Terminology used in financial statement is appropriate. Financial statement adequately describe or refer applicable financial reporting framework. Financial statement prepared in all material respect in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. Qualitative aspects of accounting practice and possible bias in management judgment. Materiality of uncorrected misstatement individually or aggregate. मैंने कुछ बोला change करने के लिए management change नहीं कर रहा है, वो कितना material है. Sufficient appropriate audit evidence has been obtained. Conclusion on reasonable assurance, give an audit opinion. Evaluation required to conclude a reasonable assurance. This is the flowchart for giving any reasonable assurance. Now the problem with people are in assurance. हम लोग audit को 10 दिन 15 दिन देते हैं. मैं जो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट है हमारा, जो फाइनल गुड्स है मेरा, जो मार्केट में जाता है ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, उसमें 10 से 15 मिनट भी नहीं देता हूं. So again, it's a humble request and appeal to everyone. Please start giving time to your audit report. Please discuss the paragraph with your team कि आपने ये लिखा तो कैसे लिखा, इसका बेसिस क्या है. हर एक पैराग्राफ के बारे में डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करिए. Going concern, we have discussed the responsibility of the management for financial statement. ये पैराग्राफ उसमें रहता है. ये पैराग्राफ बहुत 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 important है मेरे लिए. Auditors' objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement and issue the audit report that includes his opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high-level assurance, but it's not a guarantee. ठीक है. Misstatement can arise out of fraud or error. Auditor exercises professional judgment and maintains professional skepticism throughout the audit. Auditors communicate with TCW, those charged with governance regarding, among other, the plan, scope, and timing. Auditor provides TCWG with a statement that he has complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence. For audit of all such entities for which CAM are communicated in accordance with SS 701, auditors determine CAM from the matters communicated with TCWG. जो भी मेरा ऑडिट इश्यूज निकला, जो हम टीसीडब्ल्यूजी को रिपोर्ट करते हैं, उसी को फिल्टर करके फनल आउट करके 2-3 मेजर पॉइंट्स को हम कैम में देते हैं. एप्लीकेबल लॉज एंड रेगुलेशंस कारो 2016 की जगह 2020 होगा. रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ 143(3), रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ सेक्शन 33. Qualified adverse disclaimer affecting factors, nature of the matter giving rise to modification, whether financial statements are materially misstated, or inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence leading to possible material misstatement in financial statement, and auditor's judgment with respect to pervasiveness of effects, possible effects of matter on financial statement. Adverse कब देना है? जब ऑडिटर को लगता है अंधेरे नगरी चौपट राजा, सब कुछ गलत है फाइनेंशियल्स में, एडवर्स, कुछ कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, अदरवाइज फाइनेंशियल सही है, क्वालिफाइड। हमको सफिशिएंट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑडिट एविडेंस मिल ही नहीं रहा है। आई एम नॉट एबल टू कलेक्ट द ऑडिट एविडेंस। डिस्क्लेमर, financial statements are materially misstated, qualified opinion, material but not pervasive. Material and pervasive होगा तो adverse opinion. Inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, qualified opinion अगर material है pervasive नहीं है तो, अगर material और pervasive दोनों हैं तो disclaimer of opinion. Modification, other explanation, scope limitation after accepting engagement. Audit मिल गया मगर मैनेजमेंट ने इम्पोज स्कोप लिमिटेशन, तो स्कोप लिमिटेशन का इफेक्ट क्या होगा? likely to result in qualification और disclaimer. अगर जहाँ स्कोप लिमिटेशन होता है, disclaimer of opinion, क्योंकि मेरे स्कोप को लिमिट किया जा रहा है. Request management to remove the limitation. Management refuses. Communicate to TCWG. Determine possibility to perform alternative procedure to obtain sufficient audit evidence. If auditor is unable to obtain sufficient audit evidence, if possible, affects pervasiveness, resign where practicable and not prohibited by law. If not possible to resign, disclaim the opinion. तो जहां पर डिस्क्लेमर ऑफ ओपिनियन होगा, पहला ऑप्शन तो वही होगा कि आई एम नॉट एबल टू मेक ओपिनियन, तो आई विल ट्राई एंड रिजाइन. अगर रिजाइन नहीं कर पा रहे तब हम डिस्क्लेमर ऑफ ओपिनियन देंगे. Is this clear, friends? Please give a confirmation via the chat box. Avik ji, Hitesh ji, thanks Tushar ji, Pallavi ji. Friends, ये जो फ्लो चार्ट है, this is available with the book, which is of the presentations in regard to standards audit. Standards audit के ऊपर जो presentations है, CS ने 2019 में अपडेटेड वर्जन इसका निकाला था, उस बुक से लिया गया है. तो आपको अगर स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑडिट और समझना है तो बुक को सॉफ्ट कॉपी नेट में मिल जाएगा. 2019 का वर्जन है वो, उसमें बैकग्राउंड मटेरियल फॉर प्रेजेंटेशन इन रिगार्ड टू स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑडिट ऐसा कुछ नाम है बुक का, वहां से आपको ये मिल जाएगा. तो ये मैंने नहीं बनाया, इंस्टीट्यूट ने खुद बना के दिया है. मटेरियल मिसस्टेटमेंट स्टेटमेंट वे डिस्कस एम्फेसिस ऑफ मेथड अदर मेथड. ये इससे क्रिस्टल क्लियर मैं नहीं कर सकता इस टॉपिक को. ईओएम एंड ओएम, एम आई क्लियर? जो हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया था दोनों का डिफरेंस सबको समझ में आया कि नहीं आया? Emphasis of matter, something which is there in the financial statement, we want to highlight for the better understanding of the financial statement to the stakeholders. Other matter which we want to highlight for better understanding of the financial statement, but same is not reported in the notes on account for balance sheet. Therefore, other matter paragraph. CAM, matters communicated with TCWG, matter that required significant auditor attention during the course of the audit. जैसे कंपनी ने नया सॉफ्टवेयर लगाया है, एसएपी लगाया, तो कंपनी का एसएपी का आपने कैसे रिव्यू किया, सब ट्रांजेक्शन कैसे चेक किया. मैटर ऑफ द मोस्ट सिग्निफिकेंट, 2-3 मैटर जो एकदम स्पेसिफिक इंपॉर्टेंट है वो कैम में बनेगा. अब किसी का फोन आता है, विवेक मैंने इस कंपनी को ऑडिट किया, इसमें कैम में क्या दे? भैया कैम में क्या दोगे वो तो आपके ऑडिट इश्यूज से निकलेगा, मैं कहां से बताऊंगा कैम में क्या देना है. तो आपने जो कैम में दिया है, मेक श्योर हाउ यू हैव डॉक्यूमेंटेड दैट. कि कैम लिस्टेड कंपनी के लिए, बड़े ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए होते हैं, तो उसका डॉक्यूमेंटेशन भी प्रॉपर होना चाहिए. कभी भी कहीं से भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. Factors to consider: nature and extent of the communication about the matter with TCWG, importance of the matter to users' understanding of the financial statement. All these are okay. CAM, interrelationship of CAM with other elements of auditor. CAM versus modified opinion. अब मैंने जो modified opinion दिया है वो भी तो मेरे की ऑडिट मैथड से ही निकला होगा, तो वो आपने कैसे दिया? CAM versus EOM OM पैराग्राफ. CAM versus गोइंग कंसर्न, ऑल आर इंटररिलेटेड. गोइंग कंसर्न आपने चेक किया, अगर गोइंग कंसर्न में इशू आ रहा है तो CAM में भी तो रिपोर्ट करोगे आप, आया ना? सर जी गोइंग कंसर्न का इशू हो, CAM में रिपोर्ट नहीं करोगे क्योंकि गोइंग कंसर्न का अलग से पैराग्राफ है. सहिता जी, गोइंग कंसर्न का अलग से पैराग्राफ है, तो गोइंग कंसर्न का जिसका स्पेसिफिक पैराग्राफ है उसको कैंप में नहीं डालना, उसका अलग से पैराग्राफ देना पड़ेगा। इसलिए मैंने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा समझने के लिए। तो ये तो मालूम पड़ गया कि लंबा दौर है और दौर आसान नहीं है, सीढ़ियां चलनी पड़ेगी। ऑडिट के प्रोफेशन में रहना है तो ऊंचाई में जाना है, तो इस तरह से हम लोग को स्टेयरकेस लेना पड़ेगा, अपने आप को हार्ड वर्क करना पड़ेगा, तभी आगे बढ़ पाएंगे, वरना आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे। So I think that's all from my side. Anyone having any question, please? I have 1 minute left, as my co-speaker will be joining very soon, Kulkarni ji.
Friends, if anyone is having a question, please raise your hands and unmute yourself and ask Vivek ji.
Friends, I have given your the authority to unmute, because during my session I had restricted people unmuting themselves. Now I have changed the setting, so if anyone has any question, they can just raise their hand and ask. Thank you, Amita ji. Thank you, Bharat ji. So anyone having any question?
Vivek ji, I think you have already made the session very interactive, so everyone already have cleared their queries at the time of running the session.
Thanks a lot, Pallavi ji. It was really my privilege to take session to the members of Views Exchange, and I also welcome the co-speaker, Mr. Kulkarni. I have worked with him in Accounting Standard Board earlier. He is a mind-boggling person with immense knowledge, and Nfra is very close to all the auditors. We all are afraid of Nfra. So welcome, Kulkarni ji, to East.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek ji.
So thank you, Pallavi ji. I would like to sign out, and over to you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Vivek ji, for the interactive session. And I'll, on behalf of Views Exchange and all the participants, I would like to thank you for giving us the knowledge on auditing standards and the audit reports, detailed practical difficulties, what we face, or how we can save ourselves, or for correct reporting. So once again, I would like to thank you for giving us your precious knowledge. Thank you so much, Vivek ji.
Thank you, Pallavi ji, and thank you everyone who has joined. Over to the next speaker.
Welcome, Vidyadhar ji. I would like to welcome Vidyadhar Kulkarni ji for the next session, for the speaker of the next session. He is a qualified accountant with the experience of 30 years in the financial reporting and consulting and banking in India and overseas also. He is a strong advocate on He's a strong advocate of embracing global best practices and emerging economies, taking a proactive leadership role in global initiatives and forums. He's an active supporter in different reform activities of regulatory and industry bodies. He's also have a track record regarding working in different organization. He has worked with ICI, SCB, Ernst & Young, Dubai, Emirates Bank, and more. And also he's a member in the Reserve Bank of India and Indian Bank Association on IFRS implementation. And also he has worked in ICI on IFRS and ASB. And he's also IBA working on Basel II Loss Data Communication Initiative. So once again, I'll welcome Vidyadhar Kulkarni ji to continue the session.
Thank you, Pallavi ji. Thank you for a nice introduction. I have, for this session, few slides. I think I can use a share screen, and through that I'll be able to show my presentation.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have made the co-host. I've already made you the co-host. You can share the presentation.
Right. Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank Nitesh. Yeah, Nitesh ji, and then Vivek Agrawal ji, and our Central Council member from EIRC, Ranjit Agrawal ji, and other, office bearers and the management people of EIRC for organizing this session and giving me an opportunity to speak about subject. Regarding filing of certain forms, etc., with National Financial Reporting Authority, which is an important area for chartered accountants, because the National Financial Reporting Authority as well as the chartered accountants have to work in a larger public interest to make sure that the India has high quality financial reporting framework. In line with the international best practices. So in that connections, both have the very complementary role to each other to protect the public interest. So with this, what I'll do is now I have a couple of slides on the filings of NFRA 2 and NFRA 1. And before that, I will also give a quick overview of function of the function of the NFRA. Give me a minute. I'll just share my presentation, on the screen. Then I'll start. Is this screen visible to you?
No, sir.
No? Oh, 1 second. It's Pallavi, when I'm click on the share screen, it is asking me who can share. Host only, all participants, then who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. So I'm not getting any, the option here to start, this one, sharing my document.
Sir, as a co-host, you can share the slides.
Can start.
Sir, what options are? Yeah, right. I think yes.
Now it's
yes, sir. Now it's visible.
visible. Yeah. Just make it a full screen actually.
Sir, are you sharing the screen? Because right now it is not.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now I think it's visible. Yeah.
Yeah, it is visible.
Can I continue, Pallavi? Sorry about this.
No problem, sir. You can please continue, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, so next 45 minutes or so, I'll take you through the requirements of filing, these two forms which are there. One is NFRA 2, other one is NFRA 1. I'll then also explain who is supposed to file, whether the auditor or the companies or body corporates. That will I'll explain you, and also the key contents or the requirements of that these two forms, and plus so far what has been our experience of seeing some of these forms, and what are the things you need to take care of. A couple of points are there which I'll brief you on that. Right. So basically, what I'll do is, before I go into the these actual forms, very quick 5 minutes overview I'll give you on the NFRA's legal framework and its functions, and then I will just briefly touch upon this database of companies and auditors which we have created, and as part of that I will take you through this filing of the NFRA 2 and also NFRA 1. So this is what I have the intent to cover, and what we can do is, as far as the question Q&A is concerned, maybe we can keep it at the end 10 minutes, or if some of you have some questions in between, you can actually flag it, and I'll try to see if I can address those at that point time itself. So now coming to a quick legal framework of National Financial Reporting Authority. Many of you might be aware also, and some of you might be partially aware of the legal background or legal framework of National Financial Reporting Authority. So this is an authority created under Section 132 of the New Companies Act, that's 2013. And apart from this Section 132, when it comes to the functioning of the NFRA or role and responsibility of NFRA, there are other two sections also relevant, which are relating to the issuance of the accounting standards and auditing standards. That is Section 133 for accounting standards, and then Section 143(10) for auditing standards. And for the functioning of the NFRA, there are a couple of rules which are framed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
I request everyone unmute themselves for a better listening.
Thank you, Pallavi. And then the rules are basically framed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. These are all with reference to 132. That is, one is about the first one, starting with that appointment and of chairperson and other members. And then the second most important thing is about the which was issued in 2018 November, and which got amended subsequently once in September 2019. That is about the overall functioning and how about the NFRA with reference to all these sections 132, 133, 143, 10 as well. And then there is another the rules set of rules which are relating to the recruitments and terms and conditions of various officers and secretary of the NFRA. And then there is another set of rules which is about the meetings etc. for transacting the businesses of NFRA. These are all available on our website. I request all of you, if you are not seen already, it will be useful thing to have a look at it. And then there is also a NFRA charter which is available on our website. So now coming to what are the functions, role and responsibilities of NFRA. Basically now first I will today just briefly talk about what is there in section 132. In section 132, if you talk about it, basically the subsection 2 of section 132 gives a high level what are its roles and responsibilities or functions. It starts with the standard setting area. Basically, it is the reviewing the standards, accounting standards as well as auditing standards proposed by the ICAI. The standards, all these proposals originate from ICAI. So it is not that the standards originate from the government or some other source, but the primary source from who has to recommend the standards is the ICAI. So from that perspective, it has a lot of important role to play there, which it has been doing since a long period of time. So those will have to be reviewed, and then it goes to the government for notification. And then we also have the second most important function is monitoring and enforcing the compliance with accounting standards and auditing standards. This is in such manner as may be prescribed. So the rules of 2018, which I said, talk a lot about this area. And then the third area is generally overseeing the quality of service of professions associated with compliance with the standards. Again, it is both the the chartered accountants connected with the accounting standards as well as the auditing standards. And then if there are any measures which we want to suggest for improvement in the quality of service, audit quality service, etc., which we can do that. And there is the residuary clause also, which gives us a authority or puts a responsibility on us to perform other functions relating to any of these first three areas which I mentioned. And another very important area is covered in subsection 4 of section 132, which is about the investigating the potential professional misconduct areas of the the accountancy profession, and taking the disciplinary actions if any, if there is a professional misconduct is proved. So in 132 there are these important functions are there. One is investigating the professional misconduct, taking disciplinary action, and before that ensuring that there is a the financial framework, reporting framework in India has a good set of accounting standards, and then there is a oversight also is provided by the NFRA. So that's also one part of it. Now, coming to next area is very relevant to the today's session, and the topic of NFRA 2 and NFRA 1 filings. Here now. Who are, for example, which are the companies within the NFRA domain as far as the functions relating to monitoring and compliance with the accounting and auditing standards is concerned. In that context, this entities are category of entities are given, and these are all known as the public interest entities. You can call them in a broader sense. Of course, this is not the when it comes to the accounting standard setting or recommendation, that role of NFRA is not restricted to only with reference to this companies. That covers entire set of the companies, because that particular clause has to work with in tandem with other sections of the Companies Act, section 133 and 143(10). So there is no sort of a, you can say, is ring fencing of which type of companies are covered. So, but when it comes to the monitoring and compliance of the accounting auditing standards, and also taking the sort of investigating the professional misconduct, etc., it is with reference to the auditors of these companies. And when it comes to the looking at compliance of accounting standard by companies, we'll be looking at this set of companies. So there are 5 set of companies which are mentioned here. One is the listed companies, which is where the securities are listed on stock exchange in India or outside India. Here, my one request is there to the entire chartered accountants fraternity. What is happened is there are currently only 3 stock exchanges which are actually functional, and they are recognized by SEBI. And there is another one stock exchange which is still continues to be recognized, but it is not functional, which is the Calcutta Stock Exchange. Whereas the functional stock exchanges are BSC, NSE, and there is one Metropolitan Stock Exchange. Many companies, you may be having clients who may have been listed on stock exchanges. There were some regional stock exchanges earlier, like Pune, Hyderabad, and Bangalore, etc. So many of those companies are still continuing with the tag as the listed company under MCA 21. So please, when you are doing audit, etc., make sure that the listed company tag, the company changes it when it gets listed on 3 stock exchanges. And if it is not on those 3 stock exchanges, plus that Calcutta Stock Exchange, then you request the company to go and update their status on the Companies Act. Otherwise, it is creating a huge reconciliation issue for us between what is there in MCA 21 and what are the companies which are there on the list of these stock exchanges. So this is where if we can do that sort of cleanup, because you are the chartered accountants are the people who are all closely looking at this kind of area and auditing, so that will be useful. And second set of companies is basically the unlisted public companies, not private companies, but public companies only. If they meet this 3 monetary thresholds, the paid up capital or annual turnover of the company, or the aggregate loans and debentures and borrowings, then they come under the purview of the NFRA. Then there are third categories. These there are 3 specialized type of activities in which the companies or other body corporates are also engaged. One is the insurance companies, second is the banking companies, and third one is the electricity generation distribution companies. And again here, only the companies which are there, these entities, if they are formed as companies and they are public companies, then they are covered in the NFRA's rule. So if they are actually formed as a other than a company, like a body corporate, then what has to happen is if they have to come under NFRA purview, then this has to be notified by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs that so and so body corporates formed are also subject to Companies Act. Then those will come into our jurisdiction. And the fourth category is the central government can refer any company or any person, even individual, or any other entity, maybe a cooperative society or maybe any other type of entity. They can refer it to us for investigating the audit related matter, etc. And the fifth category is also another category which is mentioned is the company foreign body corporates, or foreign companies. If they are subsidiaries or associates of an Indian entity, and if they contribute more than 20% of the consolidated net worth or income of the group, then that entity also comes under the purview of the NFRA, and its auditor also comes under NFRA. So say, to give an example, say, for example, in India, there is a company, say Tata Motors, right? And it has a subsidiary, say, in UK. And that subsidiary in UK, although it is governed by the UK company law, etc., but if that subsidiary contributes more than 20% of the net worth or income of Tata Motors consolidated basis, then that company incorporated in UK as well as the auditor of that company also come under the purview of the NFRA. This clause is very, very important because it has a very important linkage to NFRA 1 filing. That's why I was emphasizing on this, as well as the the body corporate, which I mentioned that they need to be notified under the Companies Act by the MCA. Now, only very quickly I'll touch upon this body corporate and companies, etc., which is basically many of these public sector banks or the life insurance corporation, these kind of things. The question arises, yes, they are body corporates, but are they under the purview of the NFRA? So this is a matter actually under debate. And one important thing is, say they are not companies actually. If you look at it, what the clause also their earlier clause says is the companies under section clauses B to F of section 1 of the Companies Act, which talks about to which of the companies the Companies Act is applicable. It talks about all the companies which with reference to companies only. It means if any bank, if it has to come under our purview, first it has to be a company under the Companies Act, like ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank. If it is not so, then that whatever its legal status might be, that bank, but that has to be notified under the by the MCA that yes, that other body corporate, say it was established under State Bank of India Act so and so, is also subject to the Companies Act. Then that kind of entity will come under the purview of NFRA. So currently, although the rules say give an indication to this effect, but a notification has to come to that extent. So this is all just if you look at it, the section B to F of section 1 of the Companies Act 2013, it also keeps referring to the Banking Regulation Act or the Insurance Act. So that is why I have just mentioning here. Those acts also keep referring to company. When it comes to the banking company or insurance company, they again bring you back to the Companies Act, saying that the company means which are incorporated under the Companies Act, not under some other act. So only in Electricity Act, the definition is given of a generating company, electricity generation company, very wide definition. But in that Electricity Act also there is a definition of a company which refers you back to the Companies Act. So same logic applies to the electricity companies also, the way banking companies and the insurance companies. If anything other than a company form, those entities will only come under purview of NFRA if they are actually notified by the MCA. Now, with this background of which are the type of companies which will come under the NFRA purview and which have a responsibility of either filing NFRA 1 or NFRA 2. So now I'll come to this first important topic of this today's session, that is the filing of NFRA 2 and NFRA 1. So basically, if you look at our website, there is a the tab called e-forms, and within that there is a NFRA 1 and NFRA 2. That is where you will get information about which are the what are the requirements, and how to file that form, etc. That information is available. And now coming to first, I'll address the issue of NFRA 2. NFRA 2 is actually, remember one thing, NFRA 2 is an annual return to be filed, whereas NFRA 1 is an event-based form to be filed. So this distinction between these two forms, very, very important to understand. And second, another important distinction at the beginning only I'll just highlight to you is NFRA 2 is the one form to be filed by the auditors of companies or body corporates. whereas the NFRA 1 is the form to be filed by the body corporate or the foreign companies. Yeah? And NFRA 1 is not required to be filed by the Indian domestic companies. That's only for the foreign companies and the body corporates in India as well as abroad. So now coming to this NFRA 2, it's an annual return which need to be filed. And earlier, initially when that rules came in, it was mentioned as 30th April of each financial year. It was supposed to be filed, but September 2019 amendment when it happened, it is made 30th November of each financial year. This return is to be filed. We'll go to the in the next slides. I'll tell you when each year when you're filing this form NFRA 2, if you are auditor of those type of companies which I mentioned earlier, with reference to which audits you are supposed to file this form. That's a very, very important clarification required to be noted. And the second one is just I'm highlighting, not that I want to scare you people with this penalty or the non-compliance issue, etc. at this stage. Basically, the penalty if for non-compliance with any of the requirements of the NFRA rules. Filing of NFRA 2 is also one of the requirements of NFRA rules of 2018. Apart from that, submitting the files, etc., work papers and all that, that is also a requirement of that. But filing of NFRA 2 is also one of the requirements. So it attracts this, if it is not done on timely basis, or if there are errors, etc., in that filing, then it attracts a penalty of fine of 5,000 rupees. And if in case of a continuing offense, then 500 rupees every day. Yeah. Earlier, this provision amendment has happened since 17th June 2022. Before that, it was linked to a section 450 of the Companies Act, general provision. It was there, but now it has been delinked from general section, and a specific provision has been brought in under the NFRA rules itself. Now coming to NFRA 2, again, when you go and I know earlier I mentioned e-forms, and then you click NFRA 2. When you click NFRA 2 tab on that, then the first screen opens is, it gives you some high-level guidelines on before you fill up the NFRA 2, what are the prerequisites, like what kind of information you should be having, and what is the overall requirements of the details required to be filed under this form NFRA 2. So this left-hand side prerequisites thing gives you an overview of what are the requirements you need to have before you start filing. And second, the right-hand side is the technical requirements, means from the information systems point of view, what are the requirements you need to have, that is also mentioned. And of course, now apart from DSC, now you can also for signing, authenticating these forms, you can use the e-Aadhaar based facility also. That has also been enabled now. And on this screen, when you go there, you will actually see first important thing is for filing NFRA 2 is you need to sign up. You mean to register first. And if you look at the user manual tab, there is a step-by-step process for registration, and also digital signature signer registration. That process is also given there. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. And when you register with a particular email and password, etc., keep that, because that becomes more on an annual basis when you are filing. That is the one you should be using. It is not that every year you register again, sign up again, and you will start filling up the this form. So that from that perspective, keeping the user email ID through which you are registered and then password is very, very important. And same way, I think it sends also to OTP on the your registered mobile. And on this, if you also see, there are some FAQs also on this NFRA 2, which we have published on our on this website. And of course, if it's about a 2 years old FAQ. If recently, if you have come across some more issues, etc., please feel free, write on that help desk at nfra.gov in. So we will take sort of note of those and try to see that whether we can also include those in the FAQs, which will amend soon. And this is how, if you click on that FAQ, there are about 35 FAQs are there total. These FAQs are given there. So many people, if you have not seen that, I request you to go through the FAQs, couple of important points. Definitely there will be a clarification on that. Now, I just want to highlight to you people, a couple of FAQs on NFRA 2. Although there are 35 FAQs, but about 6-7 are very, very important ones. Like the FAQ number 4 and 5, it talks about question arises. What type of audits? Because chartered accountants, we know we do a lot of different kind of audits, different kind of attestation services. We do that with not necessarily to not only to the these listed companies or the companies which earlier mentioned within the scope of NFRA, but to others also. But yes, if you are providing a entity which is a a listed company governed by the NFRA domain, and you are providing them, say, tax audit service only, or if you are providing them some other service and some other audit required under some other act or something. So if you are not providing the statutory audit under the Companies Act, then you don't have that requirement to register here as of now. Only if you are providing the statutory audit under the Companies Act, for those 5-6 type of categories, then you will have to register here. And then there is also number 6, global location number. Many people get confused. Global location number means may not be applicable to the domestic companies. It is only for foreign companies or something. It is not so. Even the see, some of the domestic companies can also take this global location number. And FAQ number, question number 8 and 9. This is talks about unfavorable or qualified reports. Very important to note this is, this clause is relating to if you have issued any qualified report, CARO report. You all know the CARO 2016. Now I think it is 2020. If you have made any unfavorable remarks there, say fixed register, fixed register has not been maintained, properly, or the company's physical verification of fixed assets is not commensurate with its or is it's not adequate. If such kind of unfavorable or qualified comments are there in the CARO report, then this particular clause you need to mention, clause 8. It is not with reference to if you have issued audit report, modified audit report, which could be either a qualified report or adverse report or even a disclaimer. For that, there is a separate clause. Under that clause, you need to mention. And then the clause number 11 is there, which is also some people had asked question, when a reporting fees, is it should be inclusive of GST or net of GST? It is the clarification given there is it should be net of GST. And then FAQ number 14 also talks about the disciplinary actions or criminal or civil actions. It requires for the last 5 years. So it is about the the question is somebody raised a question: is it only with reference to the partners or other employee who is there on the end of the financial that reporting period of NFRA 2? But this question is about last previous 5 years. So somebody against whom there is some have been disciplinary action, etc., criminal action, may have left the firm because it was 2 years back there was that. But even in such cases, that has to be reported under this the clause of NFRA 2. And FAQ number 18 talks about very, very important meaning of what is the reporting period. I will talk in the next slide little more detail about that, because I found that as one of the very, very important initial error which or confusion many people are having. Even today, that confusion is there. But I'll talk about this in the next slide with a particular example so that it is very useful for you. Then another question was there. FAQ 26 talks about fees, whether it should be on a accrual basis or a billed basis, or is it only on a receipt basis. This information to be filled up is on the accrual basis, as and when you are raising the invoices. Based on that, if there is a particular period, if you have raised the invoice but not yet received also, even then you need to include that. Another important FAQ is regarding audit reports withdrawn during the previous 3 years. Whatever the companies, it may not necessarily be with reference to the companies currently which you are auditing, but you may have actually 2 years back you issued an audit report and you withdrew audit report of that company, and currently you are not doing the audit of that. But even in still in that case, the audit report which you had withdrawn, you should actually report it, whatever the the number during the 3-year period. It means if you are doing it for say current reporting period, then previous 3 reporting periods, if you have withdrawn any audit reports, that you should report. Now, as I mentioned, this understanding about this reporting period, which has been very, very sort of, we can say, caused some errors in the filings. And many people also asked a lot of questions around this. From day one, they have been asking, but last 2 years, I've been noticing that there are many questions, raised on that. The reporting period simply means it is the April to March, and when you are filling up that say for example say 2021-22 reporting period, so during that reporting period, whatever the audit reports have been issued, signed, so that has to be reported. It is not that the financial, you should not look at that audit report relates to which financial year. Say, for example, when you are actually filling up the NFRA 2, say November 2022, 30th November 2022. And this is with reference to when you are filling up that form, you will have to fill it up with reference to the audit reports issued during 1st April 2021 to March 2022. And when you do that, then you also select reporting period to it becomes a reporting period 2021 and 22. Here, what many people also did for the earlier year was when they were filling up the form for 2021, 30th November 2021, the report, it should have been with a reference to the audit report signed between 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021, whatever audits you have done during that period. So that audit will be with reference to normally 31st March 2020 financial statements, isn't it? So, but what the many people have done is they actually consider that as the financial accounting period to which it relates to. So that's why whatever the audit, financial statements of 2021, those ones, they reported as for those ones were reported as say 2020 and 21, which was no. What they did was, for example, when you have to use for 31st March 2020 financial statements, and the report must have been signed during the period for April 2020 to 2021. So that reporting was happening in the the 30th November 2021. For those, the reporting period was chosen as 2021 and 22. Perhaps the people misunderstood that was since the time, the due date of the filing of this return was actually falling in 2021 and 22, that 30th November 2021. That is why they chose as a 2021 and 22. But ideally, they should have actually, right thing should have been that 2020 or 21. So that's why actually I have from the first reporting period onwards, that 2018 financial statements for that year, which is the audit reports would have been issued in 2018 and 19. I've actually just listed down here for your benefit. Which are the reporting periods one should be using. Otherwise, what happens is if you also file in a wrong reporting period, then we will, it may end up as for any particular year, you may not have filed this NFRA 2, and it might unnecessarily cause you, sort of a non-compliance with the, the reporting requirement. And the first reporting period also, if somebody has, even for any of these reporting period, earlier ones, if you have not filed the NFRA 2, still that although the due date has passed, still it is open. My request is please file for those years also. It is not that 30th November of each year due date means we are closing the filing of the returns by that time, because since we are all in the initial stages now, it will take maybe another year or so for us to, for everybody to stabilize. So we have kept open for all these earlier years also, the filing window. And we have also, from this year onwards, we have also, for all these years, we have also made one system check also. We are saying that when you are filing the return, there is a date of audit report also is required to be filed. So it checks that if the date of audit report, which you are included in any reporting periods NFRA 2, it falls within the the 1st April to 31st March of that reporting period, so that it automatically actually prevents any filing in the wrong year. So hopefully this year we had last couple of months we had a lot of these issues. I think now with this some of clarifications and with this inbuilt check, this year whatever the filings are happening now, we are unlikely to have errors on this count at least. So Pallaviji, can I go ahead with the next slide, or anybody has any questions?
If anybody has having any question, please raise your hands, or you can put your query in chat box also. Sir, I think we can go ahead.
Yeah. So if anybody who has, so for example, also many times you may have some clarification on whether I am supposed to file, whether the audit which I've done for that company, am I supposed to do that, filing. So to understand that, what we can do is, there is we have also published which are the companies for last 2 years under the domain of NFRA. And in most of the cases which have found the auditors, which are given the name of auditors. And if there is, you can have a look at those lists for these 2-3 years, and also see that if you are not filed the NFRA 2, please make sure that you file the NFRA 2 even today. You can file it. So to get that whether you are the auditor of these companies or not, start with that first reporting period, 2000, the database of companies as of 31st March 2019. And remember one more thing, once a company comes under the purview of NFRA, it will remain for next 3 years. Say, for example, on 31st March 2019, a company was listed. On 31st March 2020, it got delisted. But it doesn't mean that from 31st March 2020 onwards, it will go out of the NFRA's purview. It will remain for another next 3 years within the purview of NFRA. Same rule applies for that unlisted companies above certain thresholds. So that's why it is very useful to look at the database of companies published as of 31st March 2019, and there is one published on 31st March 2021 also. Now, very quick, 5 minutes time I'll spend on this. What are the contents of NFRA 2? It's a simple, 8 clauses are there. Very simple information which is required about the identity of the auditors, whether it is the, what is the partnership firm or LLP or individual, etc. And then about the reporting period clause 2, I just highlighted which reporting period you need to select. It all depends on based on the audit reports signed during a particular period. So that's why when you are filling up for any reporting period, make sure that the audit reports which are signed belongs to that reporting period only. And then there is a general information concerning the auditors. It also, this NFRA 2 has to be filed by the foreign auditors as well as the auditors in India also. So that is why it has some clauses which is relating to the auditor, for example, of a foreign body corporate or foreign company located in UK, US, etc. If he is subjected to any quality review by their regulators, that he need to give. But in case of an Indian auditor, with reference to India's peer review board, quality review board, if he is subjected to that kind of review, that information. And the clause 4 has information relating to the audit clients and audit reports issued during the period. More details about the who was the engagement partner and engagement quality control reviewer, membership number, and whether the audit report was modified or a clean report, and the audit fees and its breakup. This is the information, and it is in 2 parts. One is applicable for the domestic auditors, other part is applicable for the foreign audit firms. And the clause 5 talks about if you are member of any network registered with ICAI. Nowadays there are a lot of networks which are become this practice has become quite common. Many of the Indian firms, not only they have network firms in India, but I think probably if you are also associated with networks, global networks, that information need to be given. And then partners and employees details. In case of partner, there is a more details required, but in case of number of employees, basically it gives that total number of chartered accountant employees that need to be given. And then clause 7, which I mentioned about the disciplinary actions, etc. for there. FAQ 14, I request you to have a look at it. It gives a good clarification on what need to be reported. And if there are some, if you are resigned from the any audit, statutory audit, or if you have withdrawn audit report during previous 3 years, that information need to be given. And then clause 9 is basically about the quality control policies and procedures. You are all familiar with the SQC 1, what quality control procedures and policies one need to have. Information around that need to be given. And then clause 10 has the consent, you will find this kind of a consent kind of a thing in many things, like forms which you file with government authorities. And now I will touch upon the NFRA 1 filing, which is, as I mentioned, it is an event based. It is not an annual form to be filed, and it is not a form to be filed by the auditors. Remember one thing: whatever auditor has to file, whether you are auditor of a domestic company or a foreign company, it is all in NFRA 2. NFRA 1 is basically to be filed by bodies, corporates in India, which are actually notified by MCA saying that they are within the purview of Companies Act. Those kind of bodies, corporates, they have to give details, fill this NFRA 1, and it is all the NFRA 1. The details are all about the auditor's appointment, nothing more than that. This is all about the auditor's appointment. And as and when the auditors, if you have changed, then again you fresh NFRA 1, they need to file. And second set of entities who will need to file the NFRA 1 are this, earlier I mentioned, foreign companies or body corporates which form more than 20% of the consolidated net worth or income of an Indian company. So they also need to file this NFRA 1. So in one of my requests to all chartered accountant fraternity is, you may be having certain clients like this, so who may not be aware of also of some of this requirement. So I request you to just communicate to them. Say you are doing an audit of XYZ company in India, and it has some overseas subsidiaries, which is more than 20% of the consolidated net worth. And that auditor also, you may not be auditor, but the auditor might be somebody sitting in overseas location. So both that company as well as the auditor, inform him that there is a requirement that something NFRA 1 form need to be filed. So if you can do that, it will be really NFRA will be thankful to you. So that it is one way of actually creating more awareness about this NFRA 1 filing also. So it is, once again, I mentioned to you that NFRA 1 is not to be filed by the auditor, only by the auditing company or a body corporate. And as I mentioned again, very quick, this form is a short form which just asks about the information about the the body corporate, its identification number, address, etc., and the all other information relating to the auditor's appointment, including if there are joint auditors, who are the joint auditors and all. All this need to be filed by the auditing company or the body corporate. So Pallaviji, that's all I wanted to say on these two forms which need to be one need to be filed by the auditors, other one by the body corporates in India or the foreign companies. So I'd like to sort of end here. So if there are any questions or anything clarification members want to have, so I'll be happy to take.
Yes, sir. Sir, Manoj Kumar Modi ji has asked a question. Informed two clients' old address is auto-filled, whereas the auditee has changed its address. So what is the way out for showing the new address?
Yeah, it is actually what we are doing is this address and all these things we are taking from the ICAI database. And the one important thing is the informing the ICAI and updating the new address. That's very important. Having said that, one thing also we also from our side we need to also I must admit that we need to also in NFRA also we are also trying to collect the latest information from the ICAI so that our information when it validates because the primary database is the ICAI's record, we are trying to take that and then once that is done, then this kind of issue will not happen.
Sir, one moment, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
my issue was not with regard to the address of the auditor. My question is with regard to the address of the auditee. The auditee has updated his new record, new address at the MCA side. The filing of the appropriate forms. But in the Nfra form 2, the old address is auto-filled.
Okay, the same way like we take the master data from ICAI for auditors address, from the MCA 21 also we are taking the data. And if he has updated there in the MCA 21 database, then yes, this issue will not come. But if he has not updated that, the issue will be there. So whether the client has updated there in MCA 21?
Yes, sir. The MCA site is showing the new address, whereas
New
the
address.
Nfra form is auto-filled old address.
Okay. So what you can do is on the help desk with that Nfra or the screenshot of the MCA21, if you can send it to us, email it to us, we'll see how we can accept that and correct that issue.
Sir, because it was the last date approaching, before 31st November, we filed with the old address itself. So what is the recourse now?
See, now what you can do is because we need to also we are actually, for example, once you have filed this NFRA 2 or 1, the edit is currently not permitted actually. That we are working on that. So that's why what I'll say is just write to us on the help desk. We'll keep this in mind, some of these issues, and we'll see that how that change which you already filed can be corrected.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If anyone is having any question, please ask or put it in the chat box.
And good thing was last 2-3 months we had a lot of interaction with the our esteemed members of the CA profession on this. So there is a I can say that good awareness about the NFRA 2 has come in. Yes, of course, we need to do more from both our side. Also, we need to make it more user friendly, and the issues which are mentioned, this updated database, etc. We'll have to work on that. But there has been a good reaction or the good interaction from the chartered accountants during last 2-3 months on this topic.
I think no one is having more questions. So if you allow us, we'll wrap up the session.
Yeah, I am through from my side.
Okay.
I'll stop sharing this screen.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. On behalf of my fellow friends and Views Exchange, I would like to thank you, Vidyadharji, for explaining and sharing the detailed information on different rules and regulations and reporting requirements of Nfra. He has enlightened us the practical applications of Nfra reporting and forms filing on Nfra regulations. I hope this will definitely help us for our work on the new Nfra regulations. And once again, I would like to thank Vidyadharji for taking out time in his busy schedule for giving us this knowledgeable deliberation. I would also thank all the attendees for being attentive and making the whole session as an interactive one. And also, I would like to thank Nitesh Morji and Saroj Swaikaji for arranging the current session. Sir, on behalf of Views Exchange, Vidyadharji, I would again thank you for joining us for the session.
Yeah, thank you, Pallaviji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, friends.